Fuck me, right?
You are watching the Vodka stream.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Vodka stream on your Friday. 3-day weekend coming up. That's right. Hopefully you guys are doing good, and hopefully you guys are going to have a nice long weekend, whether it's relaxing or, going somewhere doing things. But it's too freaking hot. It's too hot. Sorry, I was hearing a noise. I know there was like a fire truck in the apartment complex earlier, so I don't know what exactly happened. Didn't go and investigate. But now I'm just hearing a loud truck. Anyways, cheers, guys. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's have some discussions. Let's do all this. Let me get this more out of my face. All right, how we doing here? Let's see. Yeah, this guy, MSGT. To be more than... I don't do that on Vodka stream, so you're in luck. You need to see Steven geeking out on 4 hours straight. See Steven geeking out on Rings of Power for 4 hours straight. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably talk about that, but I haven't watched it because you guys know I'm not fully into all that stuff. I gotta revisit the Lord of the Rings franchise, I guess. Just never was my bag. What's going on, AC? TGIF. All right. Hello. It comes too quickly. Jesus Christ. He's just a cranky old dude. That's what it is. Happy finally Friday, everyone, right? It's good stuff. What's going on, Shane? We got hello there, Miss Nighthawk. Do what she said. She said. Hello. Oh, Mama Film Junkie at the river. Again, grumpy. Just grumpy. Anyways, he's probably asleep now in his chair. Can't stay up that late. What's going on, Mr. Fear Jason? Good to see you. 18th like. Thank you, Red Rum. Good to see you. Tony Movie Chappie D9 No Blomkamp fan. Hey, Dave. In question, what do you think is going to happen to Blue Beetle? Do you think they do some reshoots? They'll probably do some stuff like that, but I think it's going to be perfectly okay. You never know. There might be a cameo in there or something too. Pretty sweet. What's going on, Jared? Got Zack Snyder Justice League Hot Toys mail. Nice. Yeah, I know Scott got his and everything, so it's good stuff. What's going on, Jose? What up? Bring out the newest pooper scooper old man Ben. I know, right? Oh, him. Oh, he. What's going on, Selena? Good to see you. Nah, the movie won't be axed. I think that movie's pretty safe. What's going on, Miss Nikki, Captain Gator Girl? Yeah, I watched that today. I stopped it, though, before that post-credit scene because I saw it everywhere yesterday on my timeline, so I didn't need to see it again. I was good. It's good. All right, here we go. I know, with the exclusive, right? It's not even just the twerking man. I'm sorry, I just can't. Yeah, I don't understand that either. I'm not a fan of the music or nothing. Hey, cheers, Mr. McKenzie, for the $70 super chat. That's right. Let's go. Ahoy, hoy. All right, that's all we all want. Bennett, what's going on? Happy Friday, another crazy week. Always a crazy week. What's going on, Tet Zed? We got M Enterprises. Good to see you. All right. We got Chuck. Used to a good show and more twerking on, I don't know, right? I mean, I get it. I know there's like a lot of people that are like, I get it. I mean, the She-Hulk is not supposed to be taken seriously. Fine. It's perfectly fine, but we can still make fun of it. Still make fun of it, right? And just say how ridiculous. But the thing is, though, it's like I'm enjoying the show. There are just moments where I go, oh, God. But I enjoyed like this episode. I had Wong. I love Wong. Who doesn't love Wong? Wong was here. I'm enjoying the actual story. Tatiana Mercilli, whatever the hell her last name is, I'm enjoying her too. But there's just things where I'm like, yeah. So, let's see what happens. Good. I'm glad you had a great birthday. And that sucks that you're working. That does suck. Heidi ho, Mr. Carey. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. We got Clay Talon. We got Ronak. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. We got Mark Keller right here. Do you see the? Yeah, I did. I talked about it on Film Junkie Live. I did a little. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's the one you sent me. Yeah, I sent you a response. I asked how much it was. I remember that. Yeah, you sent me a DM about that. It was $900. Jesus Christ. Well then, giddy up. Well, you know, if you guys keep on donating and get myself a 1989 Batman replica cowl with the 89 logo, $900. Holy crap. Holy crap. JD McRae, what is happening? Brian, quick question. I know you say you're a drummer. Where were you in? No, I was never in a band. It was just like a hobby thing. Never really had like a full-on drum set. Had, you know, borrowed electronic drum sets and had friends who had drums and were in bands, and I would just tinker. I'm nothing like any special. I just taught myself how to play it because I love the drums, you know. Love the drums. So coordinated myself. Coordinated. What's going on, legend? Good to see you. We got Mark. What's up? Did you see that? Yeah. $900. That is crazy. What's going on, Mr. William? Hey, what's up, Scott? Good to see you, bud. We got Shane right here. What's going on? Happy Friday. You know, oh God. Whatever you want. Who doesn't love Wong, man? Wong's great. Love that guy. So Wong Cinematic Universe, that's what I'm talking about. That's, I mean, yeah. Anytime he pops in, he's probably had the most cameos, right? When it comes to the MCU. Well, Ben, I'm sure he will. If he shows up, you know, we talk about Mr. Ben Everett's Scoopy Pants. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Okay. Who else we got here? Let's see. We should start it. Yeah, let's start a band. Let's do it. Let's do it, Jason. There you go. Yeah, Mr. Scott right there. He's new to the gang. Wong is definitely the man. All right, guys. Yep, no guests tonight, but hey, we're drinking, we talking. It'll be fun still. This week is, you know, it's funny because the week started off with a lot of news and then it just kind of relaxed a little bit. But then today, all of a sudden, there's just like more stuff, you know. I mean, we've been talking about Cavill to death and just going back and forth about Cavill. And then today, all of a sudden, they're just like, hey. And then all of a sudden today, it was just like, they're just like, okay, he's you know, the Marvel thing was happening again. So it was like, oh boy, here we go with the Marvel thing again. Which you know, I mean, we've talked about that just negotiations are negotiations, man. It's gonna happen. It's definitely going to happen. If Mr. Feige is like, you know what, screw you, Alan Horn, I'm gonna take your Superman, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, probably gets a little petty, even though they all claim that they're all friends and it's all friendly. But you never know. Mr. Alan Horn might just be like, hey, or not Alan Horn, Kevin Feige might be like, hey, Mr. Horn, you went over there. Well, guess what? I'm going to take your Superman. Nah, maybe he won't. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. But it's just kind of funny because there was that tweet that came out that people were that somebody tweeted out. I retweeted it. That was basically saying that Denzel, John Boyega, John Krasinski, I forgot what the girl's name was. But yeah, and then of course, what's his name? I always forget his name. Who played, you know, Gus on Breaking Bad, and he's also in The Boys. Which we've always been hearing stuff about that, but it's just what's weird is like would Denzel really go and be in a Marvel movie? I don't know. That didn't seem like it would be a fit. Didn't seem like it would be a fit for Denzel to be in a Marvel movie. I don't know. But then again, you never know with actors. The money's right. I mean, Christian Bale, for fuck's sake. I mean, he went and, you know, he played a character that turned out to be a shit sandwich. But he had fun with it at least. He did his best when it came to that. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. That's right. Yeah, which a lot of people wanted him for Xavier, which is not a bad choice. I wanted him as Mr. Freeze, to be honest. He'd be a good Mr. Freeze. A lot of people have been fan casting him as Mr. Freeze. So, but yeah, he's always been attached to Professor X movies. I can't even talk. Take another drink, Dave. Take another drink. Professor X. He's been, always rumored for that. So who knows? Who knows? Like I said, you got to take it all with a grain of salt. I think if he gets offered something, shit. If he gets offered something, then he'd probably take it. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, but Boyega, he's kind of got put on the little. I thought he was like kind of on the shit list when it came to Disney, because he's kind of been throwing some shade that way. So I just don't know. That just seemed a little strange. But then it makes you wonder if Cavill does get cast in a role, could he do both? Could we possibly have him still as Superman, or is he pressing, like we've talked about, is he giving pressure to Warner Brothers Discovery, like, hey, I'm gonna go over here if you don't get me back in those blue and red tights? So I don't know, everything's so much up in the air. But then of course the Hyperion, was that his name? Is Hyperion, whatever. I think that's a little too close to, there's too many similarities to like Superman to me. I think he would be better as another character. Has joined the stream. Okay. But who knows? Henry isn't going to Marvel. He'd be an idiot to do that. Well, I mean, but if he's, it depends on the role. That's the thing. It just depends on the role. That's the way I'm looking at it. You get a good like big baddie, you never know. That'd be quite different when it comes to Cavill. I want to see him play a villain again. That'd be sweet. Because he was pretty much a villain in Mission Impossible Fallout. Okay. All right, we already got some gents showing up. Let's see. First off, Scott! Mr. Scott, what's going on?
Make everything so fucking complicated.
Right.
Oh, that line delivery hits so hard in that movie. Oh,
which movie is that? I'm drawing a blank right now.
That's
Fallout.
Like
that's right.
That's like the big reveal that like he's like the guy in charge when he's interrogating the other guy. Oh man, that was just like seeing that in IMAX was just like,
yeah, it's so good. That's why I'm like, yeah, just Cavill. I wouldn't mind if he does a villain. That'd be pretty sweet. We also got, hey, what's going on, sir? You made it. So he's sitting up right now. I was like, whoops.
You would not believe what just happened to me. I'm setting my camera up, right, and I back up a little bit, and I have a shelf full of stuff, and it just was all like,
oh god.
And I was picking it up, but I'm here. Scott.
I actually can believe that. That's the sad part.
If anybody could, it's Scott.
Look at this. This big thing right here fell on me. Like literally. Like, I'm just in here like, oh.
Knock you out right there. But thank you for joining, gentlemen. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm fine. It's Labor Day weekend, so I just came back from the church barbecue where I'm smelling. I'm smelling like Boston butt right now, and
that's a good smell.
That's a very good smell. I actually joked with Heather about that. She was like, "Oh no, honey, you smell delicious when you come home. That's fine. That's perfectly fine." Oh, yeah. And totally skipping because I saw it was going to be an all-panel show. So, Dave, I skipped going to see No Way Home, the more fun version, so I could be here with you tonight. So,
God, just touching me right in the heartstrings right there.
But I thought you were going to leave that with just touching you, and then I was just like, no.
I should have said pulling at the heartstrings. Yes, I know that sounded a little wrong. I thought about seeing it last night, but I was like, 11 extra minutes. I'll wait.
Well, I'm curious though, because they never did. They correct me if I'm wrong. But did they ever release the extended cut of Far From Home?
I don't know.
No. No,
I didn't. So that was a concern of mine. Is like, do I have to go see the more fun version in theater so I can actually see those 11 extra minutes? I don't know. I am, however, tomorrow is cinema day where every theater, everything's $3, like no matter what.
I'm going.
I'm going to finally go see 3,000 Years of Longing tomorrow.
Well, there you go. That's a good choice. I know somebody sent me that too, and I forgot about it. And I was like, huh. I'm like, what do I guess I could just look and maybe just go. I mean, that's only at AMC's, right?
No, it's
everywhere.
AMC is participant, but it's everywhere. Because I still need to see. Because I'm just so exhausted these days. I still haven't seen Bullet Train, and I still need to see that.
Hey,
you are in for a treat.
It just looks like something that I would really enjoy. Like, I've already pre-ordered the Steelbook because I'm like, I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I get the feeling that like this is just going to be my jam.
Oh, so, it will be. It will be for sure.
It will be. I mean, it's just one of those movies where you just go. I mean, and Brad Pitt was probably the funniest that I've seen him. I mean, I don't know how you feel. Like there just was something, I don't know. He just had a presence that, he was just goofy. He was like, kind of like that. He's just trying to get a job done. It's supposed to be a simple job. He's got this new, this new way of thinking about things.
This new perspective on life.
Yeah. Yes. He just is like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to do what I did before. I'm just going to like do this easy job, which it's supposed to be, but of course it goes all to hell.
Right. Yeah. Murphy's Law. Anything Murphy's that can go wrong will go wrong.
And that's a running joke through the whole thing too. It's just the fact that he's just like, God, seriously? Like, come on. I just need a break. Just need a break.
Yeah, literally says it the whole time. He's fighting people and he's just like, come on, man. Can we just talk this out, please?
You see that in the trailer. So I'm really looking forward to that. I was going to try and make it today, but it just didn't work out. But I definitely want to see 3,000 Years of Longing because it's George Miller. It's Idris Elba. It looks cool. It looks different. You got a Junkee XL score. And
oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. I totally forgot that he did the score for that.
I mean, wow. Okay. Because I still have Junkee XL. I still have Tom notifications on Twitter. So anytime he tweets, like, I get a notification for it. And I love it because, like, when a movie of his comes out, like, dude's promoting. Like, you know,
he told her. That's why I didn't know until I think it was like the Thursday of or the Wednesday he started tweet. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that he did the score. And it's a cool, like, I'm curious to what you and I even said this to you, Scott. It was like, I'm curious to see what you think about it because it's one of those where I want to watch it again because it's a lot of storytelling, a lot of like, going back, it's a lot of narration going back to like old stories and stuff. And, it could drag a little bit and it's very interesting. And it's just like, but you got two like powerhouses of Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, and they are great together.
And you get George Miller directing it. And
and it's totally, but it's like, it's not full of action, it's very unique. And that's why, I mean, it sucks that it didn't really do well at the box office, but
was it going to do well at the box office?
I don't think they knew how to market the movie. That's the thing. It is very much, it seems like a streaming movie, but it's a George Miller flick. I mean, when I saw my screening, he was right at the beginning going like, hey, I'm glad you guys showed up to the movie theater and see this movie the way it was meant to be seen. But it's just like, yeah, but nobody came out and watched it, which sucks. But what could he do?
It's also August. August is a weird month. I mean,
it is.
We've talked about this. Kind of like when we talked about like the weird release date for Super Pets, which watched again last night because once the boys found out that it was available on digital, it was like they wouldn't shut up about it. And I was like, guys, mommy and daddy need to get to payday. And then I will buy it. Because there's also something on Movies Anywhere where you get like a 10-minute deleted scene reel. However, it's one of those deleted scene reels where you're like, good thing you like, yes.
You deleted those. Yeah.
You needed to delete those. And apparently they figured it out very quickly because most of it is like storyboards and animatics. Like they never even it's even Tim voices like these things never got recorded. like they deleted these things off like early on. But I'm going to tell you, my kids love that movie.
It's a good little movie. Did you see it, Jason?
I'm going to see it tomorrow actually. for cinema day with my daughter, my wife. We're gonna all go.
Take the daughter. She'll love it.
She's going to love it. She's going to love it. And we just watched it on the couch last night because, like, I went and just bought the, Dave, just bought it digitally, and I don't love it. I like it. I don't love it, but my kids love it. So it's one of those movies that's just like you buy it for the kids because the kids love it.
Yeah. That's one thing I've learned since being a father. It's like I've learned so much about movies, even more so from a kid's standpoint. Like I'm like seeing the joy on her face is like, okay, I'm starting to get why this stuff is, being made for what it is. So. Like when I took her to see Sonic 2, oh my God!
I don't even get. Oh yeah, so Sonic 2 won me over. Sonic 1 so much, but Sonic 2 won me over. So
yeah, because Sonic 1 was just kind of like a cute movie. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Yeah,
the Sonic 2, felt like the actual video game. I was in there like
you're absolutely correct.
My daughter's looking at me like,
well, I think
what is this?
With the first Sonic, they needed to establish the backstory and do all that and how he gets to the real world and all this stuff. And it was just like, okay, yeah, you had to get through all that. But it was still like, Jim Carrey doing his thing, which is what I love. But yeah, you're right. Like when it came to the sequel, it's like, all right, we got all that behind us now. Now it's just full on video game. And man, there was like, that final act was just like, if you played the game, you're like,
the hand smashes down, and you see the golden orb under the hands.
When he's like running through and he gets hit and he goes like this and he's like to the camera, I always started cracking up because I remember many times playing the game where Sonic would get hit and his rings would fly out.
And the rings would fly out. Yeah.
And they did that. And I was like, oh my God, I started cracking up. So in the theater, and it was great.
Well, and also, I haven't bought tickets yet because sometimes I've learned that if I buy tickets too soon, like theater times change. But the tickets for See How They Run went on sale today. That murder mystery with Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan and everybody else, like that movie.
Yeah.
That movie looks so much fun, and I'm like so down for it.
Speaking of tickets, did y'all see Regal Cinema? They are bringing back Trick or Treat in October for a theatrical release. And I just saw that they added Halloween 78 to
nice.
The re-release. And I'm telling you,
well, yeah, that's your bag right there, big time.
I'm over the moon because I've never seen the first Halloween in theaters. Like I've never seen it, so I'm just like, it's already bought.
There's something about like I remember when I saw Back to the Future in a movie theater. It was like this was like years ago. It was like probably the 30th anniversary because it's coming up to it. We just got to 40, right? Or almost, no, what am I thinking? It's 85. It's coming up to 40.
It's coming up to 40. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So am I. Jesus Christ. Anyways,
already there, man. Already there.
I know. Oh, I know. But anyways, we saw it was the 30th anniversary, I believe, and we went and watched it. Packed house, and it was just one of those things like we've all seen this movie a million times, but it was just something about just seeing it in the movie theater and people just like laughing and just loving like all the bits and everything.
Well, that's the thing. It's like for the 25th anniversary of Mask of the Phantasm, Fandom Events did a thing because I never saw Mask of the Phantasm in theaters.
Me and my dad went, and
I didn't because it was a Christmas. And we'll talk about this because we're like 4 weeks away from it on the Fanimated stream. Because yes, we are doing Mask of the Phantasm on the Fanimated stream.
Yes, we are. Oh yeah, you have to.
But but I went to the 25th anniversary Fathom event because I was like, oh no, I need to finally experience this thing on the big screen. And I've seen Fathom events do like, especially with like Turner Classic Movies, like some of those movies, like I wish I could see them on the big screen. Like they did a re-release for the anniversary of Transformers the movie, and the only reason I didn't go to that was because I was there as a 4-year-old seeing Optimus Prime die. So it's like I didn't need the Fathom event. I was there back in '86 when that thing happened. So but Back to the Future, I never saw any of the Back to the Future movies in the theater.
I saw 2 and 3 in the movie theaters, but I didn't see the first one because I was like 2, maybe not even, whatever, So, but yeah, just to see it. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it's just like every scene, you can mouth every line, but it was just being in that crowd who it was just like, just like when we went to Pasadena and saw BVS, seen the movie a million times, and you're just with a bunch of fans. Like everybody's a fan and everybody's just cheering at every moment. Like we're all watching it for the first time. There's just something about that atmosphere. So yeah, if you go see Halloween, hopefully you're there with like a pretty good group of just fans and everybody just starts cheering at certain spots and everything. Have you watched on Netflix the movies that made us about Halloween?
Oh yeah. Like Halloween is. I think I can really say that might be my favorite movie, like
of all time.
Everything. Yeah, because I just love every aspect of the movie.
The struggle they had to go through to make that movie on just a shoestring budget.
And that's the part about it, man. That's the part about it that I'm just like, wow, $300,000. And somebody could literally shoot that movie now on their phone, but it's still not going to be as good as that, just because the craftsman and the filmmaking is just like there's one shot in there that I just gawk over, where it's like the wide of him in front of I think it's Tommy Doyle's house, and it's just a silhouette. It's just right there, like it's like framed so well that if you don't see it, you don't even know Michael is in the shot. And it's just a lot of stuff like that I'm just like, John Carpenter and crew came in there and just made a passion project. That's just like,
guy's a madman. And I love what he said recently too. He said like,
I don't give a shit.
Dude, this is what I love about John Carpenter. He does not give a shit, because he's just like, I love the first one, the sequels. I don't really give a shit. I get the paycheck. It is what it is. That's what I like.
I appreciate the honesty.
I respect it.
Thank you for just saying what we all know is going on, and you just have the balls to actually like put it out there. The one movie I missed out, they did a re-release, I think like a year or two ago. I wish I could have caught seeing The Godfather on the big screen, because I'm still Heather and I are now and we're 3 episodes away from finishing The Offer, and dude, that show still continues to slap.
Good. Okay, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to do a rewatch of The Godfather and then watch that show, dive right into it, because I know you keep raving about it, and so does other people. So
yeah, I've never, I think, ever watched The Godfather with Heather. So it's like, but like, if you don't watch the movie before you watch The Offer, after you've watched The Offer, all you want to do
watch the movie.
Is watch the movie.
So maybe I'll have to reverse that.
That's a beautiful experience that you just said, like how you never watched it with your wife. Like I watch movies that I love with my wife, and the whole time I'm sitting there just looking at her like,
oh no, you do the whole thing where you're like, oh,
what is it about that? What is it about that? There is something about that when you watch, especially with a significant other, they haven't seen it, so you're like, ooh, I can't wait, because it's like you're just sitting there, just doing this like the whole time. You know what's coming up. You're like, ooh, and you're just like, you want to see the reaction. Oh my god, yeah. There's just something about that. Everyone's like, wait, you haven't seen this movie? Oh shit.
It's like you want them to react to the movie the way that you've reacted to the movie.
Sometimes they don't, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that Idris Elba gif where he's like sitting in the back seat. I think it's the loser. Oh, yeah. He's just looking like,
when they don't react to what you do, you're like,
okay, all right, okay.
I still remember when we got married, I went down to like a list of movies that's like, you don't get to be married to me and not have seen these movies. And I remember when the first ones was like The Sting. I was like, no, you're going to fucking watch The Sting. I love this movie so much. I mean, it's a great movie. And but of course, that's also like that period of like, there's this weird period in like the 60s and the 70s that like, I just, for some reason, there's so many 80s movies I just completely missed. But dude, you get me like in this sweet spot of like the 60s and the 70s, and like, especially if it was like a Paramount movie or an MGM movie, like, dude, I've probably seen it.
There's a lot of gems in there, and there's something, just the filmmaking in and of itself was just something. I mean, there's like movies like Escape from Alcatraz. That's a movie that I watched so much as a kid, and that was around that era. You've seen it, right? You've seen?
No, I've actually never seen that one.
Oh, Scott, do yourself a favor, man. You got to watch that movie. That was like, but when it comes to like prison escape movies, that movie I watched a lot as a child. Clint Eastwood, Fred Ward. Forgot who was directed.
You said Clint Eastwood already.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's a Clint Eastwood flick. Shit, I forgot who directed it, but yeah, put that on your list. There's just like, but like you said,
it's on
just,
Prime.
There you go.
It's on Prime.
Yeah, watch it, please. That's just one of those movies that sticks out when it comes when people talk about Clint Eastwood. That movie doesn't get mentioned a lot, you know. Obviously, they talk about a lot of the westerns and everything, sure, but Escape from Alcatraz, man. Like when it comes to a Clint Eastwood, yeah, please.
Don Siegel was the director.
Don Siegel, okay. Yeah, I thought it was somebody else, but yeah, Don Siegel. Well, cheers to him. Good flick.
Oh man,
and rest in peace, Fred Ward, who just passed away this year. But anyways, so some more people will be joining shortly. But yeah, so what's going on? Like when it comes to shows, I mean, I know like we had the Game of Thrones show, the Lord of the Rings show. Anybody?
I still need to watch the Lord of the Rings. Like I got to catch the Lord of the Rings show because I love the books. I know that surprises no one.
What?
Yeah, but I know, right? But you know, I haven't been. I'm not like an obsessive Tolkien fan. Like I've read the books, but it's not like I've like. That's not an area where I've like gone like deep into. I freaking love the movie, like the Peter Jackson films. Like for me, it's extended editions or bust. Like I watch the extended editions of those movies, and so.
I need to revisit.
No, I have a question for you.
Because you know, I'm not into the
fantasy. Stuff I get that.
I'm not into the fantasy stuff as much. But what about you, Jason? Are you like any of those? Are you into the fantasy stuff? Yeah, see, you're right there with me. You're right there with me. See, it's like I watched the Lord of the Rings movies. They're good, but it just never was like, all right. I'm gonna watch these all. People like, of course, just lose their minds about it. It's just a whole thing, which is fine. I get it. It won Academy Awards, Return of the King, won just cleaned house that year.
Because there's basically like now we're gonna give you the awards for all three of the movies.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it was. Yeah, but yeah. So and then when it came to Game of Thrones, same thing. I was like, I'll get around to it. And now we got the new Game of Thrones show,
which is really good.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it's good stuff. Which eventually I'll get there, but yeah. Other than that, it's just She-Hulk.
God.
I still haven't watched She-Hulk, even though I appreciate the reaction my tweet got today. It's like, how did my 40-year-old white ass know who Megan Thee Stallion was? And I'm seeing all these nerds like saying.
We know too. We know. We know too.
No. I'm seeing all these nerds be like, oh, this is a real person. It's like, I've known for the past 2 years. Now, granted, how I found out about her was because she was on the soundtrack for Birds of Prey. Because the mashup of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Not to cut you off, speaking of that movie, you and Wonder Meg. I remember that tweet that y'all sent saying we should do a watch along. I'm still waiting to do that for Birds of Prey. I have not forgotten.
No, that's good. I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about that tweet, so we need to.
I remember it.
Remind them, hey, if you guys want to do it, hey.
But yeah, I mean, so I was having fun. There was just a part of me, and I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just sitting here going, dude, I'm 40 and as white as they come, and I know who Megan Thee Stallion is. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know who she was too, but I was like, all right, cool. And then, I don't, unless a show comes out on a Wednesday, I'm not going to rush and see it because, usually if there's a Wednesday show, I'll review it on Film Junkee Live on Wednesday. But now this is on Thursdays, or is it Thursday? Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, but I'm not rushing to see it because it's weird because I'm enjoying the show. I said this at the beginning of the stream. I'm enjoying the show, but there are just moments where I go, okay.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah,
I get you. Not surprising at all.
Yeah,
you know what I still need to do though, because here's the thing I'm falling behind on. Apple TV Plus has so much freaking good content, and I feel like it, like a lot of streaming, like it's just getting lost. Like I need to go back. I never watched season 2 of C. I still
gotta watch that.
Season 1, I was mad on, but then when they added Batista in season 2, I was like, okay, I need to check this out. And I never did. But then once I found out that season 3 was the final season, I went, okay, I have an endpoint. Like, there's something about a show going, this is my final season, that I'll go, okay, damn it. I got a deadline. I know this is going to end. Okay, cool. Like, it gives me a little giddy up to actually like go and watch the show, because it's like, okay, I'm only committing to 2 more seasons. I can do this.
Yeah,
it's funny. I'm surprisingly I'm not really a show guy. I'm at all, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't keep it with anything. It's kind of like I'll watch the first season of something if it really, really does catch me, but it's just like I don't know what it is. It could be like a great, great show, and it just gets lost. It gets lost in whatever, and I just never go back to it.
Well, it's difficult now because, I mean, essentially now everything's a long movie. That's the thing. It's like these shows have turned into long movies, which is great. It's fantastic.
Which I love personally.
I like. But at the same time, I'm like, I have to actually sit down and do it. Like, I'm still not done with Sandman. I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Where are you? Like, which episode are you on now?
I'm still even on episode 5. I know, dude. It's just been, But it's like if
it doesn't get renewed, I'm blaming you.
I know it's gonna be my fault. Yes, I give you permission. I give you permission, Scott. Damn it! No, I'm gonna catch up this weekend. Got a nice long weekend. Tomorrow. I mean, first off, tomorrow we're not gonna go 6 hours tonight. First of all, gang, because I gotta wake my ass up early because they're streaming the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert tomorrow from London.
You gotta be there.
It's at 8:30 my time, so I'm like, all right, we're definitely not doing 6 hours like last week. Even though that was fun, we're not going to do that. But yeah, it was fun. We had a nice long show, but my God, I know you were feeling it, Scott. The next day, so was I. I mean, those are fun shows, and I love it when everybody, people show up and we just keep it going, and it's fun. But man, yeah, I woke up the next day like shit.
That's how I felt the last stream.
I drank half that bottle. Wow, fuck! It was 6 hours.
I still remember. I still like half the glass of. I remember I poured too much bourbon last.
Yeah,
week
you did.
And I just kind of like, I'm just taking it upstairs. I put it in the fridge. I was like, save it for later.
I know. I remember you didn't drink at all because you had a good pour too.
That was like
probably had half of that.
Yeah, it was like 4 fingers. Like, you're supposed to drink like 2, and I poured myself 4. I was like, I misjudged this.
Which is good because you didn't get that much sleep. And imagine if you drank all that, you probably would have been even more. Oh yeah. Yeah, I woke up a little foggy, but yeah. So we're not doing that tonight because, like I said, I'm going to be watching. Anybody who wants to watch that. They're streaming it on Paramount Plus, and they're streaming it on MTV's YouTube channel tomorrow. So that's going to be that's going to be rough. That's for sure. But that's going to be pretty cool. A lot of people going to be at Wembley Stadium tribute to Taylor Hawkins. Yeah, fuck yeah, it's crazy. My favorite drummer, favorite band. Jesus Christ. That's it's going to be a little rough. I still remember when I found out about it on this stream right here.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was that cut the stream short. Good, and that just hit me really hard. Just one of those things. So, but anyways, I
got to catch him on Harley Quinn.
Dude, and
it just got renewed for season 4. So
new showrunner though. That was interesting. New showrunner.
I didn't hear that news.
Yeah. Apparently, it's got a new showrunner. That's what the part of the news was. But long as there's still another season coming out, I'm all for it. This season, have you watched any of this season?
I watched those first 3 episodes.
Okay, the Bat Family stuff.
Oh, is it?
Dude, the Bat Family stuff's great. I mean, Nightwing is so.
The Nightwing episode was my favorite episode of the first 3. Yeah.
No, it's still
the macaroni.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy show, and I'm glad that they're keeping it because we're a little worried about things that have been happening.
Animation has been
what?
Zavzlov's axe was slick with the blood of the animation.
He is cutting everything.
He's at his desk, like sharpening, like what else? But it's safe to say that and apparently when it comes to Batman, Caped Crusader, it is shopped around in and all the big hitters, Apple TV, Hulu, Netflix, are interested in it. And apparently one of the reasons why that they were like, hey, we're going to shop this instead of putting it on a streaming service. It's kind of strange, but I guess it makes sense, is the fact that they're going to make more money.
Well, because you can sell it, and you can sell it for, you make it for your own service.
Yeah. You don't sell it.
You don't sell it. It's just there. No, I mean, it does make sense. Like when you realized it wasn't being canceled, it's like, no, they actually want to make money. They want to make more money. I mean, the only way you make money in your streaming service is for people to sign up for your streaming service.
See, that's
and what they realized is, no, it's the GD Batman, and we can sell it to somebody else. Well, it does like blow your mind that you don't want a Batman show on your service, but yet people are going to pay through the nose to have Batman on their streaming service. And so if you stand back and you just kind of, it's one of those,
look at that as a business sense.
It's like, I guess the question is, if we had our druthers, which streaming service do we want it on?
True. I mean, like I would, I mean, I don't want it on Apple TV because I don't really watch Apple TV. I don't think I have my mom's login. I'll have to get it from her again. Netflix is very easy and convenient. So yeah, I mean, I probably would say Netflix. So, but I don't know. As long as it's going to be there, and we will talk about it, Scott.
Oh, we will. Yes. And I want whoever's going to throw money at it. And Netflix has shown that they will throw money at things, and Amazon has shown me that they'll throw money. I was going to say,
Amazon is
Invincible was fabulous. Invincible was great, and I've only watched 1 or 2 episodes of that diabolical animated series that ties into The Boys, and it's like,
I haven't watched that. Is it good? I haven't watched it.
It's an anthology, so it's like you can like each episode is like a different style. I watched the first episode that basically is like, remember those old Looney Tune cartoons that has like the baby, constantly doing things. Imagine that, but the baby has superpowers in the Boys universe.
Okay. So kind of like the beginning of Roger Rabbit kind of thing.
Yes. Oh, very much so. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. That makes sense. All right. We got a couple of people. Yeah. Hey, Toots. My Stogie. God, I love that movie so much.
I love that movie so much.
I don't know how. I mean, like that movie's just like.
Why did we watch that as children? That was so.
Oh, I know. Oh, man, my God.
The steamrolling scene gave me nightmares, man.
Oh, God.
Like, holy shit.
Oh, my God.
When
I killed your brother, I sounded just like this.
God, man. Yeah, Zemeckis, and then just the way that the animation blended. And then we even talked about it, too. It's like, how did they have Disney characters and Warner Brothers characters? Yeah, like all like in one like movie, and then Betty Boop's there. We got there were so many like different cartoons that were owned
IPs,
by different,
like
just different IPs, and it was like, what? How did they pull this one off? That was crazy. But that was before like nowadays. Nowadays it'd be a little bit more difficult, I think.
Yeah.
But you never know because we kind of had that conversation talking about Chippendales Rescue Rangers and all
that's true.
The IP that's in that movie.
Yeah, I just watched that recently and I had the same thoughts. I was like, wow, this is a lot of IPs that they're just mentioning and bringing into the movie. I'm like, how did they do this? Like, I know this couldn't have been cheaper. Was it negotiation, like free marketing? Like, I don't know.
Probably some kind of something that they do. I don't know. It's interesting. But we got some people backstage. We got
Ray.
What's going on, sir? And you're not the only one because we also have.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, what happened? Wait a minute. Okay, when you were backstage, if you saw me giggle, I thought you. Yeah.
Not a scooper. Ben,
it's not a scooper.
I need to make one of those for myself.
Yeah.
Ray can testify to this. I've had to answer so many flipping questions.
I feel so terrible.
You literally you fooled Tim.
You fooled
Tim. You
absolutely
fooled Tim. Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I am sorry that I caused so many so much pain to so many people.
I mean, I'm like, it's like last night. I'm trying to go to bed.
He sends me of like, hey, what is up with
going
this?
on?
Like,
Yeah.
and then I watched the video. I was like, okay, I just got to fucking watch the video. This is Ben's trick. Ben's trying to get another view on his YouTube. I know what this is. And then I watch it, and I'm just like, oh, Ben's fucking with us. Ben is so like, I mean, it was so obvious watching it to me. It's like, Ben, why are you fucking with us? And I even like DM'd you. It's like, why are you pouring gasoline on my timeline tonight? I mean, seriously.
oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're proud of yourself.
Go ahead,
You're proud of yourself.
I'm very proud of myself because I outed bullshitters. That was the whole point. I was like, I bet you they're gonna bite it. I bet you they're gonna go for it. And they did a fucking whole live stream based off on that stupidity.
Yeah. Like flies to shit.
Shit. No, I mean, like, I get it. You go, oh shit, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, and I got it, like I said, I got many
Pandora's
DMs,
box of scooping.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I just, every time I did, I laughed, and I was like, no, I mean, and I totally knew what you were doing. And it was just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's the bad part about, and this is what I've always said I hate about the scooping game, is like, it just, you put something out there, anybody can do it. And then people start going, hey, look at this. And it's like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
And the thing, and it proved something else, that like I don't do a lot of you've seen that. I haven't done like a lot of live stream, and I guess I said it. I only when there's stuff to talk about whenever I feel like I'm gonna have a good time. But like it just blew up. I'm like, see what I'm saying? Like people subscribe, people have comments, people started inboxing me. I was like, I didn't see none of this activity when I did a live stream about Game of Thrones last week. But yeah, exactly.
That's how it is.
Exactly. But if I bullshit you, if I lie to you, you will come to my channel. What the fuck does that say about everybody else that's doing it?
It's a very interesting sociological experiment.
It was an experiment. It was totally an experiment.
Oh, and it sucks, right? Because those of us that like, there's a bunch of us that sit there and we've been like hovering at 4,000 followers for like the last 5 fucking years,
right?
And we're being honest and we're being truthful and we're just giving our opinions and we're making it very clear that we're not scoopers, while all these fucking liars have like 60,000 followers, because they're broken clocks twice a day, with respect.
And it's because it's feeding them false hope, and it's continuing this narrative that they know something that is gonna. Because everything, like, we all want the Snyderverse to be restored or an amalgamation or whatever that could be. So when they start spitting Zack's name out every 5 minutes and saying, oh, he's going to come back. Oh, it's going to be restored. Oh, Ben Affleck. All those buzzwords, you get the subscriber, the traction, people fucking talking about you, defend you. Like I never seen this type of behavior. Like defending somebody that you don't fucking know, that is lying to you, and I just exposed it, and you mad because I'm proving my point that they've been lying to you all this fucking time.
It's a slimy game because there's buzzwords that we've been through this through the past like 3+ years, and it's just funny because when you put that out there, it's just like what's funny when it comes to anything that has to do with Zack Snyder, it's like it's very difficult to even try to do anything nowadays, now that he is connected to his fan base and there are certain people that he connects to, and it's like, all right,
the accounts to watch. Let's be honest.
Watch the accounts. If they aren't going, hey, oh my god, and teasing and putting out some like
they will tease. They will tease.
Oh,
yes, they will. Yes,
and what have those specific accounts been doing lately? Rebel Moon, Rebel Moon, Rebel Moon,
exactly.
Rebel Moon.
Oh, they're circling that now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this whole idea that, oh my god, like it's true. It's true. What Ben said was true because even before the merger happens, that he was talking with Zaslav. No, he has not. He never has.
Lies.
I mean, I stole the scoop, by the way. I stole the scoop.
Yeah, I know where you stole it from. But what makes it worse is, because you have so many lies out there, So then when the truth comes along from someone, but it's not someone that, like, if it's not a Hollywood Reporter or if it's not Variety or whatever, but it actually is the truth, you're like, like that fan cast list for the MCU that got posted yesterday. It's like, okay, I listen, in any other arena, I could buy that. Like, I can make a case for all of those names, whether it's voiceover, animation, live action, whatever. We'll find out, I guess, in a week. But like, the problem is I see it and my first thought is that's a fan cast. That's bullshit. Whatever. Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you can't trust it.
Can't trust it.
Well, wouldn't you love to see?
We got this beautiful bastard.
Hey,
Casey, just kind of like sit in there. I mean, hey, man.
How you guys doing?
Oh, you got a scoop? If you don't have a scoop, you can't be a part of the show.
Yeah, you can't be.
What do you got?
Sorry, I don't. I just have one scoop. It's Man of Steel 2. I know he's gonna make it. I believe in it. It will happen
eventually.
That was out there too at one point, right? It was like Zach's coming back for a Man of Steel 2 or something like that.
I saw that the other day.
Which one is it? Is it Man of Steel 2 or is it Justice League 2 or 3? Like, which one? He can't do all of it.
People fail to realize that too. That Zach is like a regular human being. Like, he can't do 8 things at one time. And
and he just did that tweet today. Once again, another one of those contests where like, I don't get to win this because that's not my skill set.
I can't draw.
I know, right?
I can't do shit with that. Sorry.
I know, right? Scott's like, can you have something where I read something? I'm like, that's.
Can I send him like a couple pages of like a script or something? I can write.
I mean, can I talk? Like,
I know, me too. I'm like,
there are things I do. Like,
that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool, though. I love that aspect of it. I love the fact that they're doing something, interacting. He's like, hey, fans, create like something, some kind of alien mech or whatever.
But it's like, dude, Victor, like.
Oh yeah, those guys
do this.
Oh, I saw Aaron Bailey, same thing. He was like, "Oh shit, I got something," and I'm like, "Yes, this is for you."
All the artists just started salivating, like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And the rest of us who don't have that kind of talent are like, "Well, fuck."
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. But then of course there's like some artists that are outside the US. You have to be in the US. So then they're like, well, shit. And I'm like, and it's just like, well, hey, you want to do a thing where it's like you could do it through me? No, but probably that wouldn't be the best way to do it.
We have a mutual on Twitter who lives in Canada who's a pretty solid artist, and he said the same thing. He said if it wasn't for the residency situation, he'd submit something.
I know somebody in Italy.
Speaking of art,
I know you're talking about.
Speaking of art, have you guys seen the new Harley Quinn episode though?
No,
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen the newest one. I haven't seen the newest
any of this season.
I don't feel the same aura around this season that he had.
You know what? I actually agree with that. There's when it comes to this season, it's not as funny, but there's a lot of story that I do like. About. It's not as funny, but I'm liking the stories that are involved in the Bat family and all that. But yeah, you're right, Ben. It's not as funny. And I even said that. I was like, you know what? Season's not as funny as the other seasons, but
the first one was amazing. The first one had drunk Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. Now he's running for mayor, which is funny too.
Yeah.
But, I think I'm trying to remember, Ray. I think we talked about this. I think season 2 was my favorite. Like the fun.
First 2 seasons are gold.
But season 2 specifically, I felt was more consistent for me. I remember season 1 was like, there'd be an on week, there'd be an off week. There'd be an on week, there'd be an off week.
Yeah, it was, and because of the production of because they had done those all at once. So it was almost like we were watching like a front half and a second half, and the second half was stronger than the front half as far as the first 2 seasons go. But it's different now because they didn't even, because season 4 just got renewed. Like, it just got announced a couple of days ago, so they're not doing the same thing. Which can I tell you, like, when that announcement happened, I went to work and people were like, "Oh, finally some good news from HBO Max. A show gets renewed instead of canceled."
Animated.
And I was like, yeah,
animated. Yeah, that was the joke we made. It was like animation. Wow.
Yeah, animation's been kind of suffering a little bit, but
a little bit, yeah.
I'm loving all the James Gunn, stuff with Clayface. It's so awesome.
That was pretty funny. No, I like that, and I hope that maybe they could incorporate another director. That'd be pretty sweet too.
By the way,
there's one joke in the recent episode that kind of touches on that.
Okay. But you know, in 2 weeks, we've got Zach on Teen Titans Go.
That's true. We got to support get out of that. So, you know, which is, you know, obviously that just means the whole thing's being restored. Anyways,
that's
where you got your scoop from, Ben, right?
I
was saving that for next Thursday, dude.
Shit. Sorry, I spoiled it, guys. Just ignore this. I'll cut it out at 57 minutes and
but Teen Titans Go is just like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times Marv Wolfman and George Perez, may he rest in peace, were on there because we created half those characters.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm wondering, like, what are they going to make fun of? Because that's what that show does.
It is a parody.
Everything.
I still love the fact that the giant Penny is Zod with a neck brace around his neck in the Batcave. I still think that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, and then with this season, I love that Joker is like he's trying to be like part of a family. Like he's got a family and stepkids and shit like that. And those are probably some of the funnier moments when it comes to this season. Is Joker trying to be like a dad, and then of course he just like loses.
That whole episode was so awesome.
Oh, dude, it was so. I mean, there's just so many like things, and then now he's going to be, you know, of course, running. Yeah. Anyways, I won't say more because I know some people haven't seen it, but it's just so funny that like they did that like with the Joker, and I'm like, that's perfect. Yeah, for it, he's like wearing a sweater and stuff like that. It's just
not like Christmas with the Joker, not that kind of sweater.
It's close. It's close. To be honest, it's close. It's that sweater that up like that.
Okay, since we're talking about the Joker for a second here. You retweeting that Chris Farley picture,
dude? Did you guys see that shit?
And like I saw it, and I'm like, why does that work so well?
All right, let me.
That was the AI, right? That was
Was it? No, it's a Joker by Midjourney. Yeah, Midjourney.
Yeah, that's the AI.
Right.
Midjourney.
Yeah, if anybody who didn't see this, I'm gonna pull it up right now. This is this is just creepy. Look at that. Oh my god.
But it does work.
I mean, like on the surface, the idea shouldn't work, but like that one, that's the one where I'm like, oh my god, that would have totally worked.
That would.
You know what it kind of reminds me of?
You see what I'm saying? Like,
it kind of reminds me of, and Dave, you remember this one because we've talked about this, but that Elseworlds comic, Superman speeding bullets.
Yeah.
Because in that story, Lex Luthor is the Joker, but it's like the John Byrne Lex Luthor where he's a little bit heavier. So it's like this would totally work. This design would totally work if someone ever did an adaptation of speeding bullets.
See,
that's dope.
When I see this, all I think about is reactions every time they cast somebody to play a character. And what if they would announce Chris Farley to play the Joker at one point? We would have lost our mind. What? No.
You know, well, because we've seen it before. Look at the first headline I saw after Heath Ledger got cast was literally Batman goes Brokeback.
Yeah.
That was the first headline I saw when he got cast. And everybody was like,
I think I saw that too.
I had the same problem with Ben Affleck. I had the same problem with Ben.
Oh yeah,
Affleck.
I
even said it. He was on like Fallon, and he was like, someone had posted, no,
that was me.
I still remember the night that I found out because I had a friend named Henry who sent it to me on Facebook, and I actually was the one who went, no. I see it, like, because once again, I go back to the fact that Daredevil, not a great movie. Ben Affleck was not the problem.
No,
that movie.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, Affleck for me was like like kind of like Scott, where I was kind of like, he wasn't somebody who I thought about, but when I sat back, I was like, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when thinking about like the animated series and kind of just
It took me a little bit. You can actually see my reaction. I remember posting a video a while back and just being like, I was at my mom's doing laundry, and I was like, and I remember just getting the notification on my phone. I went, "What? Ben Affleck? What? I was like, huh. And I just was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm like, because I did a top 5. He wasn't in my top 5. And I was like, huh. And then it took me a little bit. And then all of a sudden, the fan art started coming out. And I went, oh, yeah. Jawline chin.
When I saw the first image, the fan arts didn't do it for me. When I saw Zach dropping the first image.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Because black and white, I was like,
look, even when you got to a point where, like, you know, after the initial shit, and then you're like, okay, you're starting to think about it, and you see the fan art, you still weren't expecting that.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting that at all.
No, I was just good on the chin action. I'm like, oh yeah, he's got a really good chin. I'm like, that works. Yeah, I could see it. And I started like going, okay, I'm liking this. But yeah, when he dropped that first image, it was like
when they were up here.
It's like, why can't people just like deal? Like can't we just?
It's the way it is all the time.
It's the way it is all the time. It happens every time. And then we see it, and then we're like, oh my god, it's amazing.
When they were up here. Because when they were filming BVS up here,
Detroit,
the Free Press, Detroit Free Press had a shot of him when they were out at MSU's campus, and there's a picture. It's that picture of him where he's just wearing a short sleeve T-shirt, but he's like
jacked.
Ripped. He's like jacked, and I saw that picture. I'm like, the fuck did he do? Did he take like 50,000 steroids? How did he get that big?
But it happens also, like, I think about the first glimpse of like Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and the like that.
The first image of Heath Ledger, going back to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Remember when they showed me just his face?
Oh god, yes.
Oh yes.
And I was like, oh my god, that's different. Yeah.
Well, and then
another one is Cat.
First teaser where you actually hear the
laugh.
Oh yeah, the laugh, and I went,
you just see the symbol and all that.
Yeah, you see the symbol,
and you hear right at the end, you hear that laugh, and I was like, after seeing that image and then seeing that little taser, I was like, all right, Ledger, he's going to be amazing. Like,
I think I saw it in front of the Prestige. I think that's what I was seeing when
that
I
makes
saw
sense.
it.
You know what? You just mentioned Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, Chris Evans. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the thing about that one was, like, you know, Human Torch was still in my head.
He was
exactly. Yeah.
So when that trailer came up, and like it was what got me was the tone of the trailer, because I was like, oh,
exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
this might be a redemption, and it completely was.
Yeah.
To your point, though, how you were saying, like, when you saw Affleck jacked, there was a photo that released. It was Chris Evans when he had the white T-shirt on.
Yep.
And he was doing this, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck, like. He looked like somebody put air in his muscles, and I'm like, whoa,
look like a Michelin man and shit.
Yeah. No, it's like the first scene, you know, after he comes out of the machine, and you're just like, well, shit.
Jesus Christ, I know, right? It's nothing but pectoral muscle, like just shooting out of that thing.
Good boy did work.
Boy did work. But we got Mr. Andre showing up.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
what's going on, Andre?
What's up? Not a scooper.
Man?
I like that.
Yeah. What, you got a scoop or anything, Andre? I mean,
no.
Just, nothing.
You sure?
Okay. You sure you don't have anything off the top of your head? That's usually how it goes.
You know, I'll save that for you guys.
Okay.
I'm still loving Andre. I like the kind of the okay, it's like Gamal, because we got like all the BVS going off, and yet he's wearing the Marvel T-shirt.
I just had it on. I know, right?
It's here for She-Hulk.
I know. I need a She-Hulk thing behind me. You know, as Ray would say, you know, like the whole tribalism. I think it's ridiculous because I mean, look, I'm a fan of Marvel, the MCU. I'm a fan of DC. I'm a fan of Star Wars. I'm a fan of a lot of different things. So it's like, you know, if that's something that bothers you, then it's kind of like, hey, you know what? I just, you know, take a look in the mirror and figure it out. You know, it's like
clearly from your background.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, you know, and the thing too is that like to tell somebody like, oh, you can only like one or the other. It's just really stupid. It's funny because in sports, you know, I live in Northern California, so you know, people were growing up. It was always like, "Oh, you're either a Giants fan or you're an A's fan, or you're a Raiders fan, or you're a Niners fan." And some people were like, "Well, I like both teams," and like, "Oh, you can't do that." And it's like, "Well, you can actually."
Oh, please! I come from Alabama versus Auburn. Like literally, you live in this state.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of the Giants, they're winning 11-0 right now against the Phillies.
That's
God.
great.
because they've been in a slump. Bad.
Oh, the Giants have.
Oh, dude, they've lost they got swept in their last 2 series. It's really bad.
Yeah, they've seen better days.
Oh, it's been really bad.
You know what? It's not as bad as the Tigers. So shut up.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, Ray. I know the Tigers.
Detroit in general is just tough, unless it's unless it's hockey.
Up until the last 4 or 5 years, hockey was our thing, and then
that was the dominant one.
Yeah, but now it's we're just waiting for anyone to have a pulse at this point because they all suck right now.
Well, are you confident? Are you confident for the Lions this year?
No, he's not. I've heard sports ball.
Jared Goff.
Do you hear what you just said?
Am
I confident in the Lions? Look, I'm confident that I think that they could win 7 games this year, and that would be an improvement over last year's 3 wins this year.
Maybe
so.
That's
as best as I can.
And then
do.
Stafford went on to win the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Oh,
but they were loaded, though. You know what? They were loaded. That was bullshit. The Niners should have beat them, but they were loaded. Hey, you know what?
Yes, I know. Jaquiski Tart dropped that. Yes, I get that. Yes,
he's not on the team anymore. They got rid of him.
I know. Well, that's you can't drop a pick in the NFC Championship game and stay on the roster.
He might have.
The coach. Who was the coach, right? Didn't what's his name come from the Patriots to coach the Lions, and then he went back?
Matt Patricia.
Patricia was god awful. He's terrible.
That was
back
bad.
in New England now. Now we have.
Yeah, he went back to New England, right, or something like that.
He did. He's
he didn't handle losing very well. I remember he was always
he was
mad.
I can't do this shit.
He was
like, get me out of here.
Awful. He was terrible. He was
absolutely awful.
But you know what I've got starting tomorrow? College football.
Oh yeah,
I got college football now.
So do I. I got because you were talking about Alabama, Auburn. We have Michigan State up here, and then of course Ohio State below the border. But Michigan State played tonight. We're playing tomorrow at noon. We're playing Colorado State.
Oh, don't worry. We're playing Utah State.
Utah State. There you go.
But Alabama every year is the odds-on favorite to win the.
You know what? When it comes to college football. I'm just gonna say this once because Scott, I love you. You're such an awesome person, but fuck Alabama.
Here we go.
Dude. I cannot stand Alabama.
I drink your tear. I drink your jealousy and your tears.
You do.
Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? 12-team playoff is coming in a couple of years.
I was listening, and I was listening to sports ball, and I like the super conference idea you were talking about, the 2 super conferences.
Cool. That was cool. How did you do that, Ben?
I know Ben's all spiffy, I mean, he's not a scooper, but he's technical with his. That thing went whoop! I didn't even know that slide was there.
He's not a scooper. He goes this morning. I was like, "Let's go!"
Dude, that was pretty sweet. You gotta tell me how you did that.
I virtualized the camera.
You did the virtual cam. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
But Andre, sure, fuck you, whatever. I'm sorry that your team sucks. But I'm just. But for me though, it's just I just need some football. I need something to do on Saturday.
Andre, who is your college football team?
Stanford. I'm in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yes, I like Stanford. I also like Oregon as well because I had a good friend of mine that was a huge Oregon Ducks fan, and so in turn, when he lived with me as a roommate, I used to watch Oregon football every Saturday, or Thursday, whichever day they wanted to play on. So I got really into them as well. But what?
So what Scott was talking about, because I did talk about this on Sports Ball the other day, the USC and UCLA moving to the Big Ten in 2024.
That's weird.
And it's the super conference idea because basically what they're leaning towards is the SEC and the Big Ten are just going to add from the rest of the nation.
Yeah, they're going to absorb everybody else.
Right, and it's going to be almost like the college version of the AFC and the NFC, and basically the winners out of that will go to the national championship. But we've been hearing that out west people hate the idea, they hate. The idea
nobody out here likes the idea, but hey,
going out there,
if it works, it works. But it's funny that we talk about sports and we're talking about football, and I really can't wait to have college football on Saturday, NFL football on Sunday. It's it's my favorite time of the year, but. When you hear the argument that oh man, the Warner Brother execs are just, these toxic fans are just really, letting them have it. and I was saying this the other day on the Four Nerds, which is on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Cheers.
Is that if any of these fucking executives worked for an NFL team, they would have quit a long time ago. I mean, these guys are getting death threats.
Totally,
these guys are getting hated on all day long from fans who are fans of that team. Are saying them death threats like, oh, you didn't sign this guy, you suck, you know?
No. There's like plenty of that. But before we get to that, Captain Gator Girl says it's a 5 o'clock shadow somewhere. I don't know. I think she's talking about your face, KC.
Yep.
I have a 5-day shadow going, but maybe you too. I don't know. I don't know how fast your facial hair grows. But what is everyone's favorite Gatorade flavor?
Ooh. I don't really drink Gatorade, so I don't have a favorite flavor.
Okay, go ahead.
I got it. Glacier cherry.
Glacier cherry. Jason.
Oh,
hold on.
I gotta
We're
look
going in a row.
Whatever the white one was, I don't know even know what the flavor was, but that was the one that I always went to after playing basketball. I'm like,
I think that's Glacier cherry. Like,
was it also okay? KC,
that
do you have
was
a
mine.
Gatorade flavor?
I don't drink much, but the only times I drank that, it was the blue one, which is
Ooh, that's a good one too.
That's pretty much
light
where I'm.
blue?
Yeah,
Light blue or dark
the
blue?
light
Dark
blue
blue.
one. Yeah, I forgot which one that was, but I'm with you on that. What about
Yeah,
you,
me too.
Scooper?
Same thing. The blue. Yeah.
I think that's the most common one, right?
I think so.
No, the most common one's actually the yellow,
the red one.
the yellow, the lemon lime is the original.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Because they did it for the Florida Gators, right? And all that
Yes.
stuff. That's why it's called Gatorade.
Yeah.
What about you, Ray? Same thing?
No, I don't have a favorite. I don't really drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I haven't drank Gatorade in forever, but
If
when
I did, it'd probably be whatever the red flavor is, because I like red is usually like the safest color for me. With like
the red one's horrible.
Like I don't know.
That's fruit punch. Like that's what my kids love. But
Yeah.
you know, we've also been really good about we pick up the zero sugar.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Because I mean, honestly, like you don't like if you want to be hydrated, you don't need all the freaking sugar.
Yeah, no,
you don't.
I'm more of a Red Bull guy.
Oh, I love cold Red Bull. Dude. I will smash.
No, that's hard.
Too many wings. Yeah.
Too many wings.
Too many wings. No, but I know Andre was steering the conversation back to like more
this is my favorite Gatorade. If you wanted to ask me, Dave, before you change the subject.
Yeah,
there it is, right there. That's my favorite. The Frost.
Okay.
Whatever color that is.
Sorry.
It's called Arctic Blitz.
Arctic
there you
Blitz.
go.
Yeah.
Arctic Blitz.
That's the one I kind of gravitate towards.
Okay.
What kind of description is that for a flavor?
I know.
Yeah.
Arctic
It's
Blitz.
always cold. No.
But no, Andre's right. Like the fins. That's why a lot of times when I see those pieces about how the executives are like so upset at the fans, it's like I call bullshit. I don't know how many of them are actually thinking
when it came
about the fans like that.
Variety article that came out at the beginning. I mean, it's just another one of those like. I mean, the fact of the matter is like these guys, these execs use the trades to their benefit. I mean, I mean, there's no doubt that that whole part of the article when it came to the Zack Snyder's Justice League should have never happened.
What was that about? I was like,
that is from a Walter Hamada, an answer. That is one of the people that are just either out or on the way out. That's what it is. That's what all this stuff has been. And then it's just kind of funny because it's just like, okay, so why? Well, all of a sudden you're just saying that now it shouldn't have happened when it became this culture phenomenon. It was a global phenomenon, which was mentioned in something that was for Warner Media, and it's like, and it's now it's so mainstream because anytime there's like, hey, there's a longer cut of this movie, or release the so and so cut, it's become such a thing now, and it's like, and it's something that made history. And yes, of course, there's always going to be fandoms that have like their fringe side that's going to be
all fandoms.
Look at what happened with Lord of the Rings right
That's
now.
What I'm saying. Why does no one complain about that getting not made, or season 2 getting canceled, or them moving on from Lord of the Rings? Because clearly the fan base is so toxic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's so many different things.
Well, you saw what Amazon had to pull a Rotten Tomatoes and like suspend their
reviews.
The reviews, so they could like comb through it. I mean, seriously,
like it's
that's what they should be doing in the first place. To be honest, it's like there should always be that, because there's always. It's funny too, because I saw somebody tweet today and it was about that. They said, "Man, there's such a divide, but it so counteracts because like the top, like the positive reviews was like way up here, and the bottom was way over here too, and then of course you have the middle. But it's just so like it counteracts each other almost at the same time, because it's like, yeah, we know that there's people that review bombing because of reasons, and then there's people that actually like the thing, or they're just reacting to it. But yeah, you have to actually probably sift through and be like, we got to have legit reviews here. It can't just be like, I don't like this person's hair or something like that.
Well, I mean, anyone's ever read the reviews on any kind of Amazon product? Like the ones that get me are the ones that like they review bomb it because of Amazon and not because of the actual like product. It's like
I hate Jeff Bezos. No stars.
Exactly.
Okay.
Shudder is good for that too, for movies, man. Like,
are they?
Yeah, like I'll go to a movie and just look at the reviews, and it'll have like the same comment literally posted like 8 times, like shit movie. I'm like
that. Yeah,
right, that's all it is. Those 2 words, shit movie. That's it.
Literally,
no elaboration.
I swear to God, it'll be like 2 to like 4 words. That's just like, wasn't my cup of tea, or shit movie. I'm like,
the worst review that I saw for the by far the worst review I've ever seen for BVS was somebody that gave it 1 star because the cop who almost got his head blown off said Christ, and they thought it was sacrilegious.
Look, I'll do you one better. I think I said this on the last podcast I was on. I literally went to see Batman vs Superman, and the guy next to me fell asleep for the whole movie. Credits came, he woke up and was like, "Man, that shit was trash." I was like,
"You didn't even watch it? Come on." Yeah, people suck.
I actually went to see it with my roommate who was the Oregon Ducks fan. And afterwards, I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Dude, that was a cool ass movie." He was like, "Yeah, man, that was awesome." I'm like, "Dude, in the beginning, I loved how like it was the ending, the fight between Zod and Superman, and you got to see from his point of view. That was badass." You know what I'm talking about? He was like, "No, I didn't know what the fuck was going on."
Oh my God!
I'm like, "You didn't see the first one?" Yeah, I don't remember what happened though. I don't know. I just thought Superman was fighting somebody. I was like, "What the fuck?" Whatever.
And that's the thing. It's like when you read any kind of review, like. I had no problem seeing that about the Lord of the Rings. Like, good, comb through it, get the shit out. You know, get the positive reviews or the negative reviews that don't like. How about a review actually? Oh, I don't know, review like actually have some
be more than 4 words.
Have some thought. Like, be negative or be positive, whatever. But actually, like, oh, I don't know. Put some damn thoughts together.
If you legitimately don't like Rings of Power, fine. Why? And your reason better be something other than there's too many brown people in it.
That would see, and that's the thing too, is that like I know, like, you know, people were out there, you know, trying to push that narrative, but when I watched it, to me, it didn't make a difference whatsoever. I was just like, no, these are the characters, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't like they're trying to push the agenda with their dialogue as well. I thought the second episode was kind of boring a little bit, but overall, though, I thought it was a really cool show.
I still need to watch it, but you know, I'm going to.
The first episode I thought was really good. I was really into it.
I watched the 2 episodes. I'm enjoying it. I don't know what people are talking about.
I've read the books too, so it's like a lot of stuff that happens in there. You're just like, wow, that's really cool.
I didn't read the books, and maybe that's why I'm enjoying it, because I think the purists and there's some underlined racism going along with their.
No, yes, absolutely.
And they are automatically dismissing the show before giving any chance, because I think it was Steven that tweeted something out that the first episodes. They kind of play out like a book. It builds, it develops characters.
Actually, shows that the show feels more like the books than Peter Jackson's movies.
Yeah, because it tells you where everything. Like, to me, I was not so well versed in this universe, and they tell you, okay, this land pertains to so and so, this kingdom belongs to so and so, and this is where everybody's spread out. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that from the movie. From the movie was like, let's get
movie never tells you that.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
it
yeah,
just tells you there's people there.
Yeah, well, the movie takes place like 3,000 years. Ahead of
and I like the history lesson, how the light is like it was like the beginning of the Bible. This is how the earth became a thing. I was like, this is different.
No, but to even show like the Undying Lands, I thought was really, really cool. That I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. Like that's pretty cool.
And why the elves never died? Okay, this is.
But Ben, I'm in the same position as you. I'm not. I mean, I like Lord of the Rings. I've seen all the movies, but I would not count myself in that fandom. I'm not like a super fan at all. And part of the issue that I have had with the movies is because they don't hold your hand. That those actually are movies. Where it's like, okay, who's what, where's all right. Let me see if I can remember what's happening here, and I do the best that I can. So if this show does a better job of that, I probably will enjoy it.
Maybe they got those grievances from people who were like, hey, can you make it more like where you can follow it better like the book? And maybe they were like, okay, we'll do that with this show.
Because Tolkien explains freaking everything.
Yeah.
Have you seen the size of those books?
No, they're Bibles.
If you read like the Silmarillion as well, I mean that goes in even deeper into the lore where you're just like, what? Well, I mean that's what
the Silmarillion is. It's basically like the wiki.
It's like here's everything else that happened before this story.
I once heard a stand-up comedian describe Lord of the Rings as it's like the Bible but longer.
Good.
By more detail too.
It's pretty fucking long.
But no, overall though, I thought it was really cool, and to follow the characters. I don't know. Is it a spoiler to say the characters' names in the show?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't see
the main character.
Yeah,
Galadriel.
Galadriel. There we go.
Okay,
Galadriel. I mean, like to see her as a younger and going through what she's going through.
Is that Cate Blanchett's?
That's Cate Blanchett's character.
Cate Blanchett's character, and her story was the most compelling story. That was the one I wanted to follow the most. But some of the other stories, like the Hobbit, like people, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But I mean, overall though, I think it's gonna be a really cool show. I mean, I like where the story's going. The one thing that I was a little kind of like, we don't have to do this, is that and they don't really say that it's happening, but I really felt like they're trying to establish a new fellowship, which I'm like, you don't need to. Like, you could just stick to a main story and let it branch off of that. But we'll see where it goes. So I thought it was pretty cool.
I also want to bring up. Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I gotta head out of here, man.
Yeah, I know. You said you only had a little bit of amount of time, so thank you for joining.
Before I go, since I am the horror guy, if anybody else is in horror,
you're a horror.
I want to know you.
You're a horror.
Yeah,
he likes his horrors. I mean, horror.
You mean your horror? Did I hear right?
I'm sorry, man.
Horror, right?
Never gets old.
Hey, I was gonna let that one go, but Scott was like, "Hey," and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna get in on."
And I kept trying to talk through it, but he kept saying it, and I couldn't get through it. But horror, excuse me. For those who do like it, I just want to know everyone's favorite horror movie thus far of the year. Before I get out of here.
Of the year.
How about of my life? How about that? I don't watch the horror of the year.
I
haven't seen it.
Okay.
I have one
favorite
time, but
favorite period. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, since we're getting in October, I just like to pick brains and see where people are at.
Well, that's the thing is, though, we got some good ones coming out, like this. We got Smile, we got Barbarian. I'm like looking forward to those two. So, anyways, go ahead, Scott. What do you? What's
favorite ever? I guess favorite. One of your favorites
ever.
Oh, one of your favorites, not ever. That's pretty hard, but
yeah,
one of your favorites.
My answer is
you're not really big into it though, right?
I'm so much more into like psychological thrillers than horror movies.
That works.
Because if I do that, it's going to be The Silence of the Lambs. I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
That counts.
Really
good.
I think so.
If we're talking all time, like
that works.
That's mine.
All right, it's Casey.
Well, I am a horror guy as well. So
I knew it. I always knew that about
you. Don't say.
From this year, it's easy. Like The Black Phone, definitely up there.
I've heard good things about that. Yeah.
That was going to be my pick for like this year. Yeah.
From all time, I would say some of my favorites would be Midsummer, and Hereditary and stuff like that, because I love Ari Aster and The Witch, even Robert Eggers. He's awesome.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
The Witch. I forgot about. Yeah, that was a great
need
one.
to see that. I own it, but I need to watch it.
You gotta
really
watch
need to do
it.
that.
Oh, the ending! I was like, oh my god, really? Yeah.
I was about to spoil it. Don't.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but
Don't.
it's a good
Not haven't
movie
seen it yet.
because you don't know what the fuck is going on until.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Like, what the fuck is happening?
What's your all-time favorite, though, Ben?
Yes.
What's your all-time?
You have some
that's
shows
it
on
too.
Netflix too, from Flanagan.
Yeah,
Flanagan.
I love everything by Flanagan. They
Flanagan.
reveal the
Man.
first images from the next show.
Midnight, whatever.
Midnight Mass
No,
is
Fall the
amazing.
House of Usher.
Yeah,
Not
that's
necessarily, I believe.
But Midnight Mass is fucking
Midnight Mass.
amazing.
Oh,
good.
I couldn't stop
How
watching
can
that.
that guy did not get nominated for something? What's his name? The main character.
Oh yeah, the priest.
Priest,
The
the main
priest, yeah.
I forgot
That
his name.
dude has some like these long speeches. I'm like, how the fuck is he doing this?
Oh, that one thing.
Well,
like,
even what's their name?
The honesty. Say,
Richard.
Man, honesty, and I'm just like
Richard
Oh,
Linklater.
What's his name?
Richard Linklater. I
Rings.
think.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Richard
Okay.
Linklater, there you
Two movies. Jeepers Creepers, the first one.
go. Ooh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, I love that one.
And
First one's so great.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's
first one.
fantastic,
Yes.
man.
Get the fuck out of me and Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, yes.
Hell's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That ending.
Sam
to
Raimi.
that movie.
Sam Raimi.
Oh, that
Yes.
still fucks
That's
with
what I
me
was.
to this day.
Fuck, the way it
That's
ends.
when you
the
thought
way
it was
ends.
safe.
Oh,
I was
that
like,
ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Sam Raimi endings, man.
Mhm.
I
Ray
was
was
left
here.
in my seat at the end of that, just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
holy shit.
Yeah.
What about you, Ray?
Event Horizon. Hands down.
Oh, good one.
And I love
Good
the
one.
fact that like because
Not
I'm
go wrong with
somebody I go to
Okay.
my friends. My friends have laughed at me because I've had nightmares about the Aliens movies. But
Scary
when
shit, man.
but when I ask those same friends if they want to watch Event Horizon, they flip me off and go, they're never fucking watching that movie again. And I'm like, why not? I can watch that movie 24/7, 365. I love that fucking movie.
I've never seen that.
And I don't know what that says about me.
Never seen it for
It's a good
Event
movie.
Horizon.
It's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good
That's-
movie.
I swear,
Slow
Paul
build.
W.S. Anderson, he knocked it out with Mortal Kombat and Event Horizon. After that,
Yeah. Disappear.
yeah. But, the first Resident Evil, okay, but then after that, fuck everything that guy
Yeah, it was just
done.
like it didn't.
Yeah,
give a shit.
everything else that guy's done has been like shit. But
Well,
he knocked it out with Event Horizon and
the
Mortal
casting
Kombat.
for Event Horizon, I think, gets slept on, and I don't know
Dude,
why.
Sam
Great
Neill.
casting.
Yeah, Sam Neill is
And
amazing in that.
It's not just Fishburne and Neil, but it's also like Sean Pertwee, right?
Catherine, what's her name?
Kathleen Quinlan.
Kathleen Quinlan. There we go.
No, it's like and Jason Isaacs. That was the first thing I saw Jason Isaacs in. Like Lucius Malfoy is in the flipping movie. It's the first thing I ever saw him in. And it's a damn good movie.
Mama Bear, open the door. Open the door. Oh, God,
God.
that scene was just
Mhm.
yeah. God damn it.
Yep.
Get out of here. All right. Andre, what's yours?
I think as a kid, the movie always scared the crap out of me was The Shining. I thought,
Oh, yeah.
that one.
Still
as a kid,
classic.
yeah, it used to
Still.
really fuck
I
with
saw that
me.
movie when I was like 12. It didn't do nothing for
It
me.
didn't do anything for
What?
me either. Hot take. I think Doctor Sleep is better.
Oh, Doctor
Yeah.
Sleep was a good movie, but you know what?
I
it is?
agree.
It's the
100%.
when I was a
movie bugged me
kid,
the fuck out.
the little girls would scare me, and
Kubrick's
then
turning in his grave.
that one scene where she runs and goes in that room, and there's two people sitting at the edge of a bed, and they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
They just kind of look over, and I was just like, "What?" I was a kid. I was like, "What the?"
You
It does have. It
But you
does have
know,
its- yeah.
You were a little bitch when you were little, weren't you?
Hey, you know what? We all had our moments. But here's
What
the
do you mean when you were little?
thing. When I was little, what? No.
I mean, when you
I
were
have a
young, I'm
question.
sorry.
You know what we scared the crap out of me in the theaters though was what is it? The Grudge. That one fucking scared the crap out of me.
See, I made the mistake, and I saw that at a drive-in. I couldn't see
I
shit.
went on a date to see that
Yes.
fucking movie, and
I went to the drive-in.
and
Yeah,
I was
dude,
like,
that
this-
movie
and
scared the
fucking-
crap out of me. I was like,
Yes.
why am I seeing this?
Yeah, I saw the girl on a first date, and the girl looked at me and was like, "This is the last time we're gonna, this is
Paranormal
right?"
Yeah,
Activity 1 was.
It works.
Oh
Yeah.
no, my wife has
the
a
Blair
great
Witch
story about
Project?
Oh, Blair Witch. Oh yeah.
Blair Witch
I thought it was
Paranormal
real.
Activity
When I first saw it, I thought it was real. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Then they're like, oh, yeah, it was fake. Oh, it was? Damn it.
That ending when he's in the corner, just shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
chill.
that part free. Yeah, and she starts screaming. The camera just goes, and then that's it. That was like
or like
what
all the
fuck?
hands are like pressing on the tent.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's all crazy.
You're just like, what is going on?
When it
And
comes
I thought
to
it was
me,
real.
when it comes to me, I mean, if you were gonna say this year, Black Phone, that movie, I'm like that movie was just top notch. Scott Derrickson, that was like my of this year. But yeah, overall, it's just join us. Evil Dead, original Evil Dead, Sam Raimi.
Yep.
Again, that's a movie that was made on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
I don't know how he pulled it off. How he pulls off some of those fucking shots, and that's what I love about Sam Raimi. He puts the camera in crazy places, and you watch the original Evil Dead, you go, what? I mean, there's literally there's a shot that I always go, that is such a weird shot, but I like it, where Bruce Campbell, like, his feet turn against the camera. The camera's on the ground, and his feet go right over it. I'm like, why did he even want that shot? It's kind of cool, but it's kind of weird. Like, there's some weird shots in that movie, and I love it.
We went through this when Multiverse of Madness came out. I'm like, to all the people that didn't, I'm like, have you seen a single Sam Raimi movie? Like, ever? Like, seriously? Like, come on.
That's what I like so much about Multiverse of Madness was that, like, it had that 90s kind of feel to it. Yeah, it had that Raimiism. I mean, I just loved it. I was like, yeah, I love the way this is. It didn't feel like your traditional MCU movie. You know what I mean? It had its touch on it. I was like, dude, I love that.
They let him do his thing for that
which
movie.
Was great.
It was.
Like,
I love that. I love that one quote from Feige. He said, Raimi was requesting something, a shot that he wanted, and Feige was like, no, this is very corny. And then Raimi said, I really want it. And Feige was like, okay, fine, you can have it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like all the way up to the last scene with the third eye, where he's like, it ends. I was just like,
that was such a Raimi ending. But then
I was like, that was badass.
with the mid-credit scene.
Yeah, and then the MCU was like, well, we have to have our ending too.
Yeah, of course. But all right, Jason, I know you got to get out of here. Thank you. We already know your favorite all time, which is Halloween. Yeah, what was your favorite of the year though?
So far, my favorite right now it was X, but
Nope, give it to you.
Nope swooped in, and it's a heavy contender.
Shut up, Andre.
Nope is good.
I heard you.
I heard him too, but
I just got it.
Couldn't help myself.
Yeah. No, but Nope's a good. I've seen Nope. Nope's good. Nope's really good.
I still have an X at the top, but Nope, man.
The one scene in Nope where the blood is.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Let's not give it away yet.
No, it's just a shot. It's not something spoiler.
Okay.
I think
I have it queued up to watch it.
Yeah. What shot?
What is it, Casey?
The blood dripping on the house.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
God damn it,
dude! No.
That is the all-timer.
I'm gonna say two words, and it's just not a spoiler. The barn.
Yeah.
The barn.
When that happened. When that happened.
But there's
like I was literally
there's a shot though. There's a shot. No spoilers, but there's a shot where I felt. Or there's a sequence where I felt very claustrophobic when I was first watching, and I was like going like this. I know what you mean.
It had fire in the sky vibes, didn't it?
Oh yes, it did. Yes, it did.
About that movie.
I know.
What's so scary about the movie? That movie is like the way they just frame the UFO in it. It's just it feels so real.
Wait, there's UFOs? Fuck.
You
Well,
didn't
they
know
show
that?
it in the trailer.
It's
They
just
show a
like-
fucking
it's
flying
like it's
saucer.
in the
like,
trailer.
flying at them.
I didn't see the trailers, man. I thought watch it with the first
Okay,
shot.
but then it
It's not a
does not
spoiler.
spoil
It's
anything.
not a spoiler.
spoil anything.
Oh,
Okay.
really? It doesn't?
No, actually, it really doesn't. No, it's
No, it
I
doesn't.
really thought it was going to. I was like, okay, so with aliens, guys.
Not a spoiler. Trust me, it's not.
Yeah. You're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, oh, I think I got this figured out, and all of a sudden Jordan Peele's going like, no, you don't.
Because
And
you
then
got to
he's gonna
remember.
fucking go, oh yeah,
Because you got to remember, Peele doesn't just do horror movies. He's got a message.
He's got a message.
And man, does he have a message in this one?
And he's going to twist it on you, and it's going to be pretty crazy.
And the twist of what's going on actually makes it more scary, in my opinion, because the whole movie is about what the twist is. So once you realize it, you're like, all bets are off. This is fucking nuts. There's nothing anyone can do about it. So
I love his movies. I love when he's doing some exposition, because I know he's just not doing exposition about the movie, but a historical fact or something. Or some message, and I'm like, oh, that's motherfucker. Kids don't know about this shit.
Oh no, there's plenty of that in the movie.
Yeah, I love that.
And the and I also love
his favorite movie of his. It really is.
I love his casting too. Like, you know, with Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya, like on the surface, you're like, how's that going to work?
I love that.
This motherfucker brought a non-electrical camera.
That's good. It's really good.
I like Kiki.
It's all good. All right, Jason.
Get out of here before I keep talking.
I know. You need to go.
I'm gonna regret it in the morning. But good talking to y'all, man.
All right. Take it easy, Jay.
All right, Pete.
Good talk.
All right, take it easy. But you know, we'll replace Jason with
throw a knife at Steven.
What's up, Steven?
What's up? How's it going?
You're listening to all that, talk about that. Now you got to talk about your favorite horror movie.
I was hoping you'd go back to Rings of Power, where it was.
No, I totally, because before he was left, I was totally gonna bring this up, because I've seen this a lot with Rings of Power, and I just want to get this clear, because so many people have made a big deal out of the $1 billion that Amazon has spent on the show. And there was that article about the Insider that said, if this isn't the biggest hit in Amazon history, it's a massive failure. And I'm like, has anybody seen what the total market cap of Amazon as a company is? Like, the cost of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is like Bezos' pocket change. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure part of the point of that, when it was part of what was said about that was that it's just kind of a vanity project of Bezos's. So if it's not good, then it's just like,
no, he's not sweating anything off of this at all.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it'd be great if it's good, but it's hardly they didn't budget it in order. The budget was not determined by the economic necessity. It was determined by what he wanted the production quality to be.
Well, and it's
I'm okay with that, because I'm looking forward to watching it. It's give me good stuff.
And it's like what you guys were saying earlier before I came on about Cape Crusader. You at least want it to end up in the hands of a company that will throw money at it, and Amazon's a whale. They have money for days to throw at anything.
Yeah.
So
True.
Now, granted, sometimes that can be a problem. I think that budget necessity can create
opportunities.
Not just opportunities, but there's
invention.
Sometimes when you have to solve a problem that's 99% of Star Wars is just oh damn, we don't know how to do this. Let's something
figure it
up.
out.
And then
that's true.
And so now you've got Will Rohood is carrying an ice cream maker down the hallway, because that's just what the props were.
By the way, Steven, are you wearing a Green Ranger shirt?
Yes,
he is. I love it.
I love it. You know what? I almost bought that shirt at a Hot Topic, and I don't know why I didn't.
I
didn't have my size. That's why. Yeah.
I was a huge
my favorite
Power Rangers fan. The Green Ranger was pretty
That's what
badass.
got me into Power Rangers, because
yeah. Well, because everyone else has the dumb power coins, and he's like, no, I've got a dagger that's also a flute, and then my dragon comes out of the bay and it destroys an entire warehouse district every time it appears.
Yeah, and I also have a shield.
Stomps all over the warehouses first.
Okay.
I also have a
every
shield.
day they rebuild that, and they're like, "Damn it!"
Why does no one want to talk about how it was defective half the time? Never mind. I'm gonna leave it.
No, I still remember, when Tommy showed up as the Green Ranger, and he jumps into the cockpit of the Megazord and tears that shit up.
Yeah, he starts effing those guys up, man.
Yeah, he fucked them up, and then later on. They had what was it? They had they had something of his Goldar. It was guarding it. He had something of Tommy's that took his power. Remember, and he had to fight him and try to get it back.
Like the green can. I remember the green candle deal.
The green candle. That's what it was. Yeah, and then he had to go through Goldar, but he wasn't in his Power Ranger forms. He was just trying to fight him, and that's so sad. And then
you remember that because I remember it too.
I was like so into it, dude. And then he later turns into the White Ranger, which was like, wow, that was even more.
That whole reveal. I remember that whole reveal. Where it was like, who is it? And then he takes off the helmet, and then like Kimberly like passes out. She's like,
welcome back to the best sword then, because like the White Tiger isn't like that great, except he rides the head as it runs.
Yes,
and, like,
exactly.
I wasn't a big fan of the White Tiger, but when they became the Ninja Rangers,
the
Falcon, I was down with the Falcon.
Yeah,
because I loved how the wings like folded in, and then the feathers were like missiles that shot out of it.
All right, now that we're here, I have to ask this question. Where did your Power Rangers like religious watching stop?
When I got in junior high,
I stopped at Zeo. I stopped at Zeo.
I stopped. Yeah, I never finished Zeo because there's a gap at the end of Zeo right before it became Power Rangers in Space, and so. And Zeo ran into that, and so yes, somewhere in Zeo is where I left off.
Same here.
I stopped after the first movie. I was like, all right, that was cool.
After the first movie,
the first movie is not even canon because the first movie was actually really good.
Yeah, the first movie was really good.
Ivan Ooze
ain't gonna get better than this, and it didn't. So I was like, after the movie, I was like, all right, I think I'm done with this.
I saw the first movie in theaters.
So did I.
Yeah, I was
amped. I was like, let's go.
Ooh, where's my autograph book?
I was like a teenager,
all the costumes were like shiny.
They were all high end. I was like, whoa, what happened?
I still can't believe that's Belloc under that makeup.
I know.
That is insane.
That's
Belloc. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
No, but that's where mine stopped right there. But the Green Rangers, that was the only figure I had too. Because remember when those figures came out?
I think Casey froze again.
Somebody wake him up.
No, I think he froze again. Yeah.
Somebody get him on missile lock. Wake him up.
There was a comment like a couple of weeks ago.
How is it that anytime Casey freezes up, he's always got his eyes like closed? He's meditating, guys.
He's meditating.
That's all it is. He's conjuring up, to try to make Ben's scoop a reality. That's what he's trying to do.
Maybe.
But I thought it was a reality.
Maybe he's watching some more movies.
Past.
I don't know, like on the inside of his eyelids.
Yeah. Oh man, so that means he might have had a little outage again. That's what happened last time. I'm surprised. I'm actually like, there he goes. Yeah. I'm actually like, I'm glad. Have you, Andre? Since you're in California, you hadn't had any rolling blackouts, have you?
Yeah, there was a couple of them, but only because there was a fire near us, and I'm further up north, so if there's a fire anywhere near here, PG&E is like, they pull the plug, like, yep, that's it. Yeah, put the fire out, and then we'll turn the power back on.
Yeah, because they were they're like, anytime there's like something, they're like, just turn it off because we're gonna get sued.
So it was last Sunday. They shut it off during the daytime, and I was like, oh shit. So I'm like, I was gonna watch House of the Dragon. I'm like, dude, this is gonna suck. And then it came back on, so I was able to watch House of the Dragon. I was like, tight. And then the next morning, I woke up to go to work. So I woke up at 3 a.m. to go to work, and as soon as I stood up, bam, power went out. I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. So I had to get ready in the dark. And when you gotta take a shower in the dark, it sucks.
No, I take a shower in the dark most of the time. It's just when the power's out and the hot water heater isn't working, and then it becomes a cold shower.
No, you got to convert to the cold showers by default.
It's
That's
not
the trick.
happening, Stephen. I am not going to convert to your blasphemy.
Dude, you don't even know. Like,
they're more refreshing.
Yeah, that'll wake you up. That'll wake you up.
But do they clean? Does cold water clean anything off of you?
Of course.
I mean,
you can still use soap.
Okay, but yes, I use. But doesn't hot water, like the scalding plus the soap is double.
Dries you out.
But it's not sterile. Like, you know how hot it would have to be to sterilize.
It'd have to melt you.
The biggest difference is the hot will get like more oils off, but you don't want to lose.
Hey,
all
look,
the
he's
oils.
back.
He's back. He woke up.
With my skin.
Why am I always sleeping?
More oils off.
But I mean, you can use soap for that too. But like some of the like Like I don't know. I guess in the hair and the skin there's some oil that you want to retain. Otherwise, you just end up drying out.
Do you all at least wash your legs?
Oh my god.
Okay, good. No, that's a thing.
Why would I not wash my legs?
I know, right?
Because apparently there's a bunch of nasty motherfuckers in the world that don't wash their legs.
I'm like, you don't see those. I'm wearing pants anyway.
They seriously believe that the soap like just runs down their
torso?
leg, and that's how the clean works.
That's not how showers work.
No, there's a lot of motherfuckers that don't wash their feet.
Now that's a fake. That's a fake scoop right there.
And then they wear sandals, and it's like, what, dude? You should not be wearing sandals. That's what is going on right there? Yeah, like literally, like just do this. Lift up. I know it's a little scary because it's you're standing on one foot and you gotta do that, but do it, please.
Brace yourself against the fucking wall.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes. Make sure you got some. Yeah, I mean, my God. So, yeah, we. But what I wanted to bring, if we're gonna go into a subject here, we actually got a video from Mr. Sci-Fi Center himself, William, who he was like, "Hey man, I'm like send a video." So I was like, "All right, let's do it from the Patreon." But he wanted to ask this question to us.
Hey, Junkee, Vodka crew. Quick question, and Chris Von Swinson, my other YouTube parent besides you, brought this up on one of his videos the other day. With all the money that's already been invested with the current history, even the re-releases of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Glow in the Dark versions, and it's constantly on TBS or any of other Warner Brothers Discovery's platforms, we've always by default said reboot and reset. Why not just continue? And what are the disadvantages of just continuing since you already have that media out there? If you're going to bring on new fans, why not just connect them to what's already out there and go forward from there? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Thanks. Have a great show.
I don't think that it's something I just think we've always sat there going shit or get off the pot. Like it's like if you're going to continue it, then continue it. I think that's always been at least my contention is well, you're gonna do it or not.
I think the issue is that does the general audience know enough about Zack Snyder's Justice League? I know we have watched it, like fucking until the cows come home. But the thing is that like I don't know how popular it is amongst the general audience.
It doesn't
want you in the middle.
It doesn't really matter.
It's like a non-argument. People went and watched Rogue One and thought that Felicity Jones was Rey, and they loved it. Like
it's true. But I mean, I think
and I'm not joking. Like that's general audience. I heard before I came on, someone said their friend watched. Was it you that said that your roommate
BBS?
BBS and was
he didn't even know what was going on.
And like that's normal for like the general audience.
Right. But what I'm saying is that like if you wanted to make Zack Snyder's Justice League the canon moving forward, don't you think that it would be a better idea to give it a theatrical run? Let's say like in March
I agree with that.
When you don't have anything coming out, put that movie out. And at least that would then lead right into the Flash. So you could say, this is the definitive version of Justice League.
There's something in February, right?
But I'm gonna.
We don't know what it is
yet. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. But if we're
talking don't you dare, Scott.
No, I'm going to.
You've already seen it in the theater. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it in a theater.
No, he didn't. Ray did. Ray and Steven.
No, I saw BBS.
Oh, you saw BBS. That's right.
Oh. Yeah. So,
Ray saw it.
But my argument is, and this is just my point to Andre.
What
is that? But is the general audience going to go watch a 4-hour movie in the theater?
No,
it's us who've already seen it.
Yeah, I would go see it 2 times in a row. Yeah,
right, we would. But your question was about the general audience.
But see, that's the thing is that we talked about this the other day. I won't do it again. But we talked about it the other day on the corner, and when the question was if it were to come out or to get a theatrical release, what would happen if they cut it to 3.5 hours?
The fuck
people would flip out. Like, oh,
what are you cutting?
He's done it again.
Andre, what are you cutting? Andre, seriously.
Exactly. I wouldn't cut anything, but I'm saying, would the studio feel like they had to do that? Like,
well, I don't think Zach would agree to that.
No. Yeah, I don't think.
Exactly.
He wouldn't agree to it.
But no, and also I think that the thing that often misses in this discussion is when you're talking about like a wide release like that. Justice League, I think we know it now. It got like $20 million. Zack Snyder's Justice League got like $20 million in marketing. Movies that with a wide theatrical release, first of all, that's a huge commitment from theaters, because even like a limited release is only 50 theaters around the country or whatever, whereas you're talking over 1,000 for 1,500 or something like that for like Endgame, or it might be even higher. Scott might know that, but I can't remember what the average wide release number is, but it's well over 1,000. And that also means usually that the marketing budget, in order to put butts in seats in theaters, is like about equivalent to the budget of the movie itself. And that's the thing that people don't get. It's like, oh, just put it in theaters. Like, it's not just a matter of like people word of mouth being like, Justice League
sending a file.
I'm gonna go see it. like there's a huge commitment because you're taking other things off of the screen in order to put that on the screen, and so there's all sorts of logistics there. But then also to get butts in seats, you're talking about like $100 million and like several months worth of beforehand.
Yeah, no, you need a whole marketing plan like that. You can't just throw it out there
unless it's like a Fathom event or like a limited release. And like the limited release might be cool, and you'll definitely fill theaters for that because you'll have people driving 100 miles or whatever to go to, that are fans to go to their nearest theaters and packing it out. But I think anything more than like a limited release is just like a non-starter, because no one's going to put that much money into a
like we're talking about like things like Rogue One coming out in IMAX for a week, E.T. coming out in IMAX for a week, like Jaws, like these movies, like if you want an IMAX screen, and let's be honest, how do we as fans want to see Zack Snyder's Justice League? We would like to see it on an IMAX screen, and the best you're getting, I mean, like we're talking like hope and optimism is a week, if not something like Steven, like you were talking about, which is a Fathom event, which is one showing or two showings, like one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday kind of deal.
Maybe IMAX,
but I mean, the fact that the other Justice League movie exists, I mean, couldn't necessarily just say, this is what I think they're going to do is that they're just going to refer to a Justice League movie when it comes to like,
I go back to what Steven says though. The general audience does not care.
But that's what I'm saying is that
and story beat, and this is an argument that we've heard, but really, if you kind of follow the major story beats, you kind of get to this, except for Darkseid.
Darkseid, Silas Stone, and Steppenwolf.
I will say why would this need to be to happen? Because if they introducing new characters, it will make sense. Like if somebody's different, if somebody is playing a different person is playing Superman or Aquaman or other Justice Leaguers, put it out there, because this is who we're gonna continue with moving forward. But like to your point, Scott, intrinsically the story is kind of similar, other than whatever not that it's similar, that it resolved itself by the end of the movie, other than the setup for the Darkseid.
That's all that it is. That's all they
can
exactly.
If they're going to maintain this canon at all, likely we're going to get reintroductions to everyone, and not necessarily like a soft reboot necessarily even, but there's going to it's going to be if everyone doesn't get a solo movie before the next team up is going to include very much a soft primer on like, here's all this shit that you may or may not know, because like Justice League theatrical was not a huge hit, Zack Snyder's Justice League was not a huge hit, and like when that kind of stuff, there's a momentum there in releasing Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League, hundreds of millions of dollars of marketing cascading across each of them, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and then just stop. All of it stops. You don't just be like, well, let's put it back in theaters and we'll start it back up again. Like that's not like it's dead in the water. Like they can't like just. That's not something you can just kind of juice back up. Like there's going to have to be some sort of revving to get
there. And that revving would start probably with the next Superman movie. And that's all you need to start the revving again. And the general audience will go, hey, he was Superman before. They'll remember him because they remember Henry Cavill. He's got a recognizable face. If that was the direction that they were going.
And he's more recognizable now.
Right.
Yep.
So that's all they really
And I think
need.
the next Justice League movie, they will just be a team. You know, they start with the movie by being on a mission or something, just drop in the middle of an action scene, and they are a team now. So you don't need to actually, bring them together again and all that stuff. Because
and that's the question too: is that how far from now do you even consider making another Justice League movie, or do you set up a whole bunch of other movies with cameos, or having these characters be side characters in these movies, similar to what they did in the MCU? How you had you had Tony Stark in a bunch of movies. Is that something that they do with Ben Affleck, where he's in a lot of these movies? He's in
kind of what they're doing already right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be the case.
Sounds like
yeah.
Because
I
mean, that's what it kind of feels like they're going to do, and then which will lead up to another team up where they already.
If it's Dan Lin, I think he would go straight to Justice League.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, he definitely wants to go to Justice League. We heard that the podcast and everything like that, but that's not even official yet. That's what's so crazy.
No,
it's
that's what's killing you. And that's like the thing that came out.
Now I'll actually be upset if it's not him.
Well, I know that's the thing. That's the thing. The fact that it hasn't been official just kind of almost seems like was something with him and his crew going, hey, let's reach out to the trades and push this to push Warner Brothers Discovery.
Well, I got a source that they said that they're going to announce it San Diego, New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con.
Yes.
Because that's been the center of most announcements is New York Comic Con.
Yeah, New York Comic Con's always been huge when it comes to all this.
Yeah, everything.
But it's like
if it's not this con,
can you clarify?
Listen, guys.
New York Comic Con doesn't give a shit about movies. Just to clarify.
Don't question my sources.
Yeah, let's ask Steven. Let's go to Steven. Steven, when was the last time New York Comic Con ever announced a major slate?
My sources.
New York Comic Con is actually about comics. It's a crazy thing.
New York Comic Con is going to be
some movie stuff.
There's got to be another con in between then and now. I mean, it's just
New York Comic Con is where you get your like Hellboy, your
Spawn
reboot, your Marvel TV shows.
Yeah,
but it's like what Casey.
WB announces their stuff on earnings calls. We all know this.
Oh right. Oh yeah, PowerPoints. Yes, for sure. No, it's like what Casey's saying is spot on. It's at the point now where like, if he doesn't get announced, especially after that article, I am going to be irritated because when people like when it came out yesterday that that there will be no Fandom this year, which should have surprised no one.
No one. Who was actually shocked by that?
Nobody was shocked by it.
But I saw
nobody was.
But I saw people that were legitimately upset that there was no Fandom and was like, still thinks that there should be one. And I'm like, for what? Black Adam?
Yeah. If you give me another Black Adam trailer, I'm gonna be like, well, what's the point of seeing the movie? Because I mean, come on, you showed me everything.
The only thing I want to know,
another trailer.
The only thing I want to know at this point, information wise, is Dan Lin hired or not? That's the first thing I want to fucking know. I don't care about. Listen, you can hold your Flash trailers, hold your Shazam Fury of the Gods, extra trailers, whatever. Hold Aquaman and the lot. I don't give a shit. Tell me whether or not this fucker is hired.
I'm not entirely in disagreement, but also remember, like, you're one of like 5 people that care about that.
Yeah.
I understand that. No, I understand that, Stephen. But
no. There's 7.
That's not to delegitimize like the interest or the importance of it, but in terms of them as like a marketing or a PR,
I'm saying from a fan perspective, though, for fans that are angry that there is no Fandom and think that there should be one. That is the only information that I, as a fan, care about. If we're talking about it from a hype standpoint for the general audience, what do they have to hype?
I actually want the Flash trailer. I really want the Flash first official trailer, like
so do
the completed, finished Flash trailer. Where is it?
I think I would imagine they're probably going to wait to announce Lynn or whoever it is until after Black Adam.
They can't because there's massive rewrites. This movie's going to get a massive overhaul.
Oh yeah, that was The
Doomsday's going to be in it.
The
movie.
You're talking about the movie that's been getting like the best test screenings.
Yeah,
in the world.
I was saying screenings have been
okay. Look, not to
The
change
best
subject
test
and all,
screening
but
since The Dark Knight.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
Dark Knight, right? Of course,
The Dark Knight's
everything's
the only
best since The Dark
decent
Knight.
fucking movie.
But I mean, what world do we live in?
Didn't DBS have that little famous, infamous now little
Standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
Yeah, we're gonna crush Marvel.
Well,
Marvel. You know.
Yeah, but
that's
that's
like,
always,
oh, screw this, we're scared.
but that's always been one of those like urban myths that it's not that it's urban myth, but like that was an executive screening, not a test screening,
right?
And so that's like it's full of people who like worked on the movie or developed it in some way or invested in it, and so not that it means nothing, like it says something about like the internal perspective on the movie. But like that's not at all a representative.
Clay, we don't know how safe the milestone shit is, unfortunately, and that really sucks. To be honest with you,
super chat
because Static Shock, and any of that, that's we don't know.
I would love to see Icon in this universe, like officially well done.
They never even we don't even know there's a script for that yet. I don't think.
No,
so,
I mean, after Aquaman, what do you have? All you have is Blue Beetle. That's been worked on, but like there's nothing else set up.
And no matter how far along in development that stuff is, you could have a whole milestone slate ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any interest in putting one foot forward on any of that until they have their next Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Superman House in Order.
I agree with that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because they want. They understand that those small characters have a relevance when they exist in a larger framework, and right now there isn't a larger framework, and so they need to say like, here's our skeleton. Okay, now here's all the filler. Like not to say Static Shock is like filler, but
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like,
but don't you think after the Flash at like Comic-Con, you have to say something? You have to have some kind of presentation about what you're going to be doing after Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be some kind of, even a short slate of like, hey, in the next couple of years, you got this to look forward to. I mean, from then till now, they have to have something planned.
No, they're on the clock next year, just not now.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do think they're still getting their ducks in a row at this point.
I think we talked about this last week, but like all the delays, one of the most interesting things about that to me is that says that puts a damper on my opinion that they want to just kind of get these out and be done with it so they can do a clean reboot. I think if you're delaying that stuff that long and talking about like getting it right, that implies a long-term investment in getting, Shazam! Fury of the Gods and Aquaman 2. Like, there's an investment in making sure that that's right. And so why would that matter? Well, if you have longer-term plans, but if you just want to get, like, you're not going to kick Aquaman 2 to the end of 2023 if you want to be rid of Jason Momoa for the next 10 years. Like, you want that to come out. You're not going to delay it longer, spend more money on it. No, like, none of that doesn't make any sense. If you want to,
that's the silver lining of the delays. It goes into it actually supports William's question and says it does indicate that they are trying to hang on to what they've got now. And but that doesn't mean and this is where you get into all the fuzzy just like definitions of what Restore the Snyderverse actually is. Like, it does not mean the Justice League sequels. It does not mean Zack Snyder is coming back. What it means is that everybody that he has cast that is so far still here would remain.
Well, it means a different.
Wait, I thought he pitched his whole plan. What
we have.
What are we talking about?
Well, we got the
somebody blow up Ben. What's going on, Ben?
No. I'm going to quote Ben here.
Bring us back to reality.
No.
Yeah, he's going to quote Ben.
Quote Ben right. Bitch, please.
Let me.
Bitch, please.
You timed that perfectly.
You should have let me say it before you threw
He knew it was coming. He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming, though.
I'll drink to that.
Ben, we're buddies.
I like it. Yeah. Cheers.
But
Cheers
one thing that's kind of what we expected was that, whether he'd make that decision after bringing the DC head or before. I'm kind of glad that he did before, because now Dan Lin would have to follow that and build off of that. But that might be a good thing going forward. So you just have to wait and see.
Well, I mean, like, if you're gonna bring somebody in, it's like the main dude's got to be like, look at everything, look at the numbers, look at everything. We have to be like, all right, this is what we got to do from a business sense. Now we bring in the head and go like, all right, achieve. Now you do your thing and you report to me. You don't have to report to any of these other fuckers. You report to me, and then we're gonna do this shit right here.
And that's assuming that the person who comes in has to adhere to whatever plans they already booked.
Say that
So
again.
does this mean that they already have a plan of what they're gonna do with for the next 5-10 years, and then whoever comes in, they have to adhere to whatever plan Zaslav has?
No, I think he has a business plan, but he doesn't have like a
creative
content.
So he's going to have we need Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Like he's got a prioritization of characters. These characters need solo movies. These characters need spin-offs. These characters need sequels. And that's all a business decision based on utilizing the IP. And like kind of maximizing the value there, but in terms of like what the storyline, I think that they're leaving.
Well, and I think that leads. Sorry, Dave, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, and if they can get those two fuckers, signed on, world's finest. I mean
that would be great.
3 years ago.
Which I in my last live stream, I didn't only give you a scoop. I did talk about
exclusivo.
I talked about
you gave me 2 scoops.
No. That was a fucking experiment. You guys know. Anyway, so world's finest. I think that's the way they should go. And,
I think it makes sense if you want to. And the reason that I wrote that back in like 2018 is because, and as I've said the whole time, all WB is needed to do is just put Henry Cavill in a Superman movie. This entire if they didn't want to do the Snyder Cut, put Henry Cavill in a Superman 2. If they didn't want to like all of this stuff, they're like acting like that, like, oh, we regret doing that, or we didn't want, like, they're acting like they're a victim. No, you're a victim to not putting Henry Cavill in another Superman movie. That's your problem.
Yep.
You could have just blasted forward after Justice League, no matter how bad it was. You could have announced Man of Steel 2 the next day and gone forward with it and been just fine.
Yes.
You know, people didn't like Age of Ultron. People didn't like Iron Man 2. People didn't like and they went forward. Imagine if every time that Marvel hit a hiccup, they like halted everything and started like
they would have halted several times.
Like the amount of hand wringing is just insane. And the fact that like that article came out this week where it was like Warner Brothers or Studio Insiders say they regret it. It's like, well, which studio insiders regret it? The ones who lost their
Walter
jobs?
Hamada?
Yeah. It's
one of the questions I have with the World Finest is that, you know, it's Batman and Superman. So who will be the villain for that movie?
Well, just look at World's Finest. Like you use Luthor and or Joker and or like.
You have to have one of each. One of each.
You can go with the story that they do.
Metallo,
Brainiac.
But don't you think? I mean,
Public Enemies is a great story.
That's a great
Public
story.
Enemy,
But I mean, if you wanted to fast track a Justice League movie, I mean, don't you think the Flash could end with him, like, you know, going back to his reality, and he's in the nightmare future, and then he meets up with Batman, and then you can have your Aquaman movie,
and then you get George Miller to direct.
No, but then, you know. Like, you
Dave, I told you that in confidence, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like you could literally jump right into a Justice League movie that takes place in the nightmare future, and then Batman is basically telling the Flash what happened while he was gone, and that's where you would, you know, see the stories of how Darkseid took over the you know, Earth and killed everybody and all that stuff. It kind of brings
that's my next concern after seeing, you know, whether they would reboot or not, because now that we know that, you know, probably the characters are back, but would they still pursue the nightmare thing?
I think we need to accept the very real possibility that they're not going to go in that direction.
They're probably not, but I'm saying like they could. I mean, we know it would work, but still, I mean, who knows?
Especially with George Miller.
Yeah, well, and you look at. I'm of the opinion, especially, you know, it's 2022 and we're talking about re-signing Cavill and Affleck and going forward with that. And so you look at, like, if they're going to try to salvage things, Affleck doesn't want to be in 20 Batman movies.
No.
Cavill might be able to do a long-term, you know, it'd be cool to have Superman age up and maybe you could lead to a Kingdom Come or something. But, like, I think that the nightmare maybe not used in the exact same way, but I think if they're trying to commit to this old cast and they're doing a 10-year plan, likely what DC is going to do is lean into kind of one of their strengths in a way that Marvel is just kind of continuing on in perpetuity forever. I think with DC, we're way more likely to see like a full reboot every 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So you say
like crisis
like,
every 10 years.
It's like you do a crisis and then you'd be like new cast, new everything, but it's a continuation. It's a spiritual continuation. It's a soft reboot.
Oh, just like the comics always do, because every time a crisis happens,
right?
We still like when Crisis on Infinite Earths happens. The Silver Age didn't go away. Like
exactly.
The Silver Age was still there.
You can bring back Keaton. You can bring back Affleck. You can bring whatever you want on occasion to sprinkle it in. But also you've got and that way you've got a ton of Barry Allens. You've got a ton of cyborgs and Green Lanterns and whatever. And you know what? And then you want to go back and do a legacy movie, so you look at if they've got all those materials and they want to pull like a Days of Future Past sort of situation. Having the Nightmare on the table is just a tool that you don't want to pass up. That doesn't mean it's going to be Snyder's plan for the Nightmare. It just means like, oh hey, you've got this like apocalyptic future situation.
Fury Road shit,
and you're going to do a crisis, and you're going to do a crisis situation. Yeah, hell yeah, throw that into.
Just imagine a Batmobile just going through like this desert wasteland.
Yeah.
The parademons start fucking attacking it, and you have the Flash, you have Cyber. I mean, like, there's so much possibilities that, like, and something that you would not expect, and people would be like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, I mean, just imagine that. Just imagine like Batman in his trench coat and his goggles. He's driving the Batmobile. It's modified for this world, and he's like driving straight into the fucking lion's den, and you have all these parademons just start going, just flying at it and just attacking it, and then you have all these other heroes that just jump in, and then we're it just could be something absolutely insane.
And imagine, I mean, we're talking about, a Mad Max inspired Batmobile. I think it'd be even cooler if it was the War Machine that he takes out there.
Oh,
it's slower, isn't it? Or is it?
It's slower, but
tank. Yeah.
But imagine if it was that, and he's out there. It's a huge beast of machine. And
him and Deathstroke.
Really cool. The war rigs in Mad Max aren't exactly the fastest in the world.
Exactly.
They're not efficient either, dragging people along it, and a dude with a guitar that the guitar flamethrower.
That's not like it's so badass.
I want to watch Fury Road.
I'm not saying
I kind of want to watch it again.
I'm not saying I disliked it. I'm just saying it wasn't efficient.
No, it wasn't efficient. But I mean, that scene where they set off and then the camera swings around and you see the guitar player like
right.
Well, that was the best scene. I was like, dude, this movie's badass.
Yeah. I think one of the things that that would prevent them from pursuing that would be the evil Superman thing. I think that's one aspect of the Nightmare that they are iffy on. But because other than that, like everything else is awesome. They're setting toys of it, and everything.
The stuff is all. I mean, it was the criticism, I guess, that was dumb to begin with, but it's all easily avoidable because if you're talking multiverse and stuff, you like the Injustice games have been out there and popular for a long. Like the idea of evil Superman is not new. If
Superman 3,
if you're gonna stick with that and you're worried about audience reception, you just have another Superman there to show, like to balance or contrast or like I don't know. There's a million different ways to do that. I think that
that's how Injustice ends. Is that you play the Earth 1 Superman and you literally let Superman beat Superman.
Or in the same movie, they can just cut back and forth to the modern and future.
Like the Westworld.
Well, and as much as as much as the CW haters don't like to hear this, they've done evil Superman multiple times for the general audience. So
right,
but you know what? Guess what?
A very limited audience.
Nobody knows because nobody watches that shit.
Well, here's the thing that happens with movies though is something comes out.
But you fucking knew, didn't you? Yes, you did. So, there you go.
Something comes out and it just doesn't register for whatever reason with the general audience, and then all the people that are like chronically way too online, way too obsessed with the movie stuff come out and they say, "Oh well, here's why the general audience didn't like it," and then they say like, "So therefore you can't do these things with the general audience." Like, well, I'll be the first to say like the general audience doesn't care about this stuff, but also like I repeat, the general audience doesn't care about this shit. So people will be like, oh, well, they didn't respond well to BVS. That doesn't mean you can't go and just do another BVS or another similar thing to that. And like their memory, they're not going to say, well, that was bad the last time. Like, because they see stuff.
But times have changed, though.
But I'm not saying that times have changed. Like you get Armageddon and Deep Impact come out. You get White House Down and whatever. Like this
Olympus is falling.
And general audiences like don't know or care.
Listen, if they do World's Finest,
Benefits,
the Jungle Book and Mowgli, you know,
Friends with Benefits and
oh god,
what was
it's just so funny. It's so funny how
No Strings Attached.
No Strings Attached. Yes.
Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher were both in separate movies, and they're together.
She had the better movie.
She did have the better movie.
I don't think I saw either one of them because I
saw both of them.
I saw both of them at the theater.
I didn't want to see either one.
Shonda and I both agreed Friends with Benefits was better, but anyway.
But I mean, now if you put out a Justice League movie or a superhero movie that is darker and is similar to BVS, I think now it gets a much better reception because of shows like The Boys, because of where some of these stories have gone now. People are used to that. People want to see darker, more
Here's the question though: Would it get better reception theatrically, or would it get better reception on a streamer? Because I'm sorry, The Boys isn't theatrical.
Oh no, it's not. That's a show,
right?
But what I'm saying is that people have seen these type of evil characters and the gore and the violence, and now I think it's at a point where it's like, hey, I'd like to see more of that on a higher scale.
I'm going to tell you what, though, Andre, people, if there's one thing we've learned in the last 9 years, people are real funny about Superman.
Yeah,
exactly.
Superman.
And that's why the
thing is that we already have a dark version of Superman in BVS, so why can you switch it up and give you a lighter side of him?
And that's why I think it's important to clarify, like the idea of like a World's Finest, at least for me, if you did something like that, the point of it is not as like a BVS redo; it's a BVS sequel. Right. So you end that movie, and like Superman dies, obviously, but you end that movie with them like teaming up, and so like you continue on from there. So now Superman is back and Batman are back, and they're working together.
And that's why I go back to like whenever Jeff Loeb wrote their relationship, whether it was in Hush or in the Superman Batman book that started with Public Enemies and Supergirl and all of that. When I think about a World's Finest situation, like the duel, you don't do the movie, but the dueling internal monologues that Jeff Loeb would write with Batman and Superman, there's that great line in Hush that's like, deep down. The big difference between the two of us is that deep down Clark is a really good person, and deep down I'm not. Like that, that those relationships that he had, like that's how you do a team up where they're working together. They are friends, but yet you can still highlight how different they are as characters. Yes. And that's what Jeff Loeb did so well. In every time he wrote those characters.
Yeah, you get a sense
everyone say World's Finest. And let's
say World's Finest. Andrew Dice is going insane.
World's Finest.
World's Finest.
World's Finest. By the way, World's Finest is still the name of that 3-parter in the animated series, and that 3-parter rocked.
It was a very good 3-parter.
I'm just using it to differentiate it from an oppositional movie. I don't care what it's not going to be called World's Finest. The point is it's Batman and Superman, not Batman.
And to be clear, if they do go in that direction, if that happens, right? The trolls and the fans.
No, it means something to like the people on the stream. It doesn't mean something to like the movie would never be titled that.
Well, anytime you say World's Finest, you're talking about Batman and Superman. That's why this is always.
That's why that was the name.
I think of Joey, SDS, and Meg when I hear World's Finest.
But like the only nice.
Everybody in the chat, type in World's Finest. Right
yes.
They're already doing that.
But make no mistake, Andre. Like the people that are going to call it better than BVS will only be the trolls and the assholes that are trying to get a rise out of you. The general audience will go, "Hey, a Batman Superman movie," and they're not going to do this.
They're going to be like, "Let's go."
Right.
People like my father-in-law, who I remember when BVS came out, was like, "Aren't they friends?" And it's like,
Right.
Right.
Not
It's
at
not a
first.
complicated question.
Not at first, or not at first.
But
It
also,
like
their
it
dynamic
depends on the
is so
period.
good
Like,
when
once
they are.
again, but once again, but at least if you do a world's finest, you know, if you do a world's finest types movie,
We're not
at
talking
least
about
you
Captain
get over
America. Sorry.
No, that's America's ass. Not the world's
Henry
finest.
Cavill.
America's ass.
I think that's funny that you say, like, people say, like, well, aren't they friends? Because, like, it's like, yes, that's whenever anyone has any reaction to a story where you're like, okay, so it's nighttime and it's dark out, and they're like, oh yeah, because there's no sun at night, and it's like, yeah. Okay, so anyway, like, like there are certain things that are like implied by like storytelling. It's like when someone's like it's a Batman and Superman are gonna fight, and people are like, well, aren't they friends? It's like, well, do you want? Okay, never mind. Batman and Superman go and get donuts. The end. Like, what? What do you?
Another thing, Steven. Another thing that DC suffers
Might be the
from.
funniest analogy you've come up with.
Because the sun's out.
Everybody knows these characters. So that's
I
another
like the
thing.
idea of
Try to
them
introduce, they already know it.
I like the idea of that because I think they will feed off each other well. And one of the things about Batman is a jaded, doesn't trust anybody. I mean, he has a contingency plan for everybody on the Justice League. So even that he will play friends with Superman, he will make it abundantly clear, I could fucking kill you. And he can also work with and also show Superman not everybody is out. Not everybody's good, because Superman idea is that everybody's good first until proven other fucking wise. Right. And he can use they can balance each other out where Superman shows him this good in people. You just don't see it.
The insufferable part is that it's inevitably going to be, this fixed Batman v Superman. And the same way that like any sequel, like people will be like, even when BVS came out, people were like, well, it improves Man of Steel, but now it's got its own problems. It's like, well, maybe storytelling just means that you're developing an idea and don't judge it until it's fully developed. So like, in the same way that like people saw Justice League and were like, oh, this actually makes BVS better. And it's like, yeah, maybe because it was a story in progress. Like, and so what you're going to get with something like this, if it capitalizes on or develops any of those ideas, as opposed to just there's a cynical version that exists just to like reboot and rewrite and fix, and that's going to be frustrating.
Or there's the part that like builds up that relationship at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, where it's like, thank you, just righting a wrong. So how?
Yeah.
Get the house back. I bought the bank. Like that scene. Like I cannot tell you to this day how happy I am that I bought the bank.
I love that.
Line still exists. I love that line.
That was
so
the
much.
one joke that I'm like, well, I hope that stays. That was like the one thing that I hope would stay.
Another scene was in BVS when before the Trinity lineup shot, Superman just comes in and, did you find the spear? And Batman was like, I was a little busy. So stuff like that is very very good
relationship right there. Remember when we kept hearing that there was going to be like a power struggle, who's going to lead the league before we got all that, and like stuff like that. That's what we want to see when it comes to this kind of. So I was actually going to see like, okay, so world's finest. Maybe that doesn't pop when it comes to the title of a movie. What would it actually title? I mean, yeah, but would it actually work for like a movie that has? You have to have
maybe
both of their names in it. Like, what would we actually call this?
Exactly, the executives are going to push for visibility.
Because like when
Batman Heart Superman
was announced, it was like Batman versus Superman. It was VS. Then all of a sudden they changed it to Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and it was like, all right, so it which is fine. And I get like they were going Batman v Superman, almost like it was like a court case, which the courts are involved. There's a whole scene that has all the
hearings.
Yeah, the hearings. And it was like, okay, I get what you're saying. You're going to do the straight up V. That's fine. So like, what would we actually call a bat? Or would we just go full on and be like, have Wonder Woman and then just call
Trinity?
it the Trinity,
If I was picking the name, I would just say Batman and Superman world's finest. This is how the marketing work.
Well, look, from a marketing standpoint, because the suits are going to be like they got to have their name in the title.
Exactly.
And unfortunately they have evidence because all they got to do is go back to the whole Birds of Prey fiasco.
Exactly, and it also increases the chance of engagement on the internet. When people talk about it, they'll bring up Batman and Superman.
I think it will be Batman and Superman something Dark Side.
Eskimo Bros.
Jose.
Also, I want Alfred to be in that movie the whole time in Batman's ear. He would be
more of Jeremy Irons Alfred, please.
Yeah.
Oh yes, please.
Yes,
but that's another question too. Is that if they're going to move forward with Affleck as the primary Batman, are they going to give him a solo Batman outing, or do you think he'll just be in other movies and then be in a Justice League movie?
So that's the thing. Like Ben Affleck expressed that he did not want to do that kind of stuff and be away from his kids for so long. Yeah. And then, not to mention, it's like, I know everybody was like, all right, make the Batfleck movie. Yeah. I don't like using that hashtag because just listening to everything he said in the past couple of years about like how he gave a script to his friend, which I'm thinking it's Matt Damon. And he said like, hey, you're going to kill yourself if you do this, if you're going to star and direct in this, which, that's taxing. I mean, that's anybody who's going to take on like being the star in a heavy 30-pound bat suit and be the director. That is so taxing.
I mean, if he wants to do it, I'm all for it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, being 50 years old and being healthy, I mean, that's always going to be, even back then, it was always.
He would only have to play Bruce, though. Like, the Batman part, Richard will play it, right?
Right. But that's another thing, too, that he's 50 years old. He's 50 years old. At the age of 50, and you have a 10-year. I know, but at the age of 50, with a 10-year plan, are you telling me that he's going to be Batman until he's 60?
Fucking Keaton is like 100. He's playing Batman again.
Well, look at Tim Roth. He was just in She-Hulk. He looked old as hell. I was like,
okay.
Are we forgetting that? Wait. Isn't RDJ like pushing close to 60?
Guys, we're not wearing a full-on suit.
Okay, here we go. How about this?
No more workout scenes.
Just celebrated his 50th birthday. We just celebrated his 58th birthday.
Yes.
Who did?
Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
So that's John Wick himself, and he's doing most of his own shit.
Yeah. Richard Citrone is 60.
But again, a heavy bat suit. All right.
Wait, Richard Citrone is 60?
Yeah.
How the fuck is that possible?
Dude, talking to that guy, I'm like, how the fuck do you? Yeah, I remember when I talked to that guy, I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, what is your regimen? And he's you can go back and watch it. I mean, like, he expressed like what he does and everything, how he keeps in shape. I mean, when you're a stuntman, your body is your tool. Like, it's not
your body.
Yeah, your career is your body. When it comes to Affleck, it's not exact. I mean, of course he wants to keep in shape.
He's in the best shape of his life.
Can you kick that guy off the fucking chat?
Who?
Who? The John guy.
This guy right here. Look who just showed up. Jeez. I was about to say, I was like, who? Oh yeah, that Garza guy.
That Garza guy.
Garza guy.
What I would love to see them do. I mean, it's weird that this is such a big thing, even because like look at like the Nolan Batman movies, and like Batman Begins, he spends like half the movie before he even gets in the suit,
right?
Yeah.
And then the action, 90% of the action, you can't even see who's wearing the suit, and then whenever there is dialogue, he's just a dude. Like, you could do all of that in like a day, right?
Yeah.
Of like just have. So
yeah,
I get it's a thing. I don't mean to say it's not a big deal, because like it is more complicated than, especially if you're directing and acting and all that. But I think there's ways, especially if like I'd love to see them do a like get him out of the suit, get some matches Malone, get some Bruce Wayne shit going on.
I feel like the closest we've gotten to matches Malone is what we just saw. In the Batman. And
I could have sworn that he was gonna create a persona for that movie.
I thought I hope he does for the sequel. I really do.
I hope so too.
But yeah, it's like, Steven, I largely 100%. I largely agree with your point, but just point of emphasis. The one thing Christopher Nolan can't fucking do, as amazing of an auteur as he is, he's one of the best filmmakers he can't do fight. He can't. He's gotten better. Okay, Tenet was better. All right, fine. But Batman Begins was fucking awful.
Well, okay. Now see, Ben, okay. So Andrew's he's still talking about like this stuff.
Oh my god! Andrew's got a
so they don't name it that, but then in the Avengers, Tony Stark does go Earth's mightiest hero.
Say that.
So,
but it's not the title though. I mean, is anyone here advocating that World's Finest is the title, or is it as
no, we're not advocating for that. But you can make
a concept. It's an idea
in the movie. Maybe that's about it.
That was it was not a confirmed name.
No, we don't want it to be the name.
I'm not defensive over Nolan's like fight choreography, because I agree it's not that like it's there's nothing to defend, but I don't think it's something. I'm defensive over it as like I don't watch Batman Begins and think like, man, this is missing top tier fight. It's just not that movie.
No, I don't think that either. No, Steven, I don't think that either.
You watch Heat and be like, man, if Stahelski directed Heat, it would have been like a banger.
But there
Michael Bay.
But to that point, like there's nothing in Heat that requires Chad Stahelski, right? Like you didn't need him to do that shootout.
But what requires him in like in BVS or not BVS in Batman Begins? The only thing is like the dock scene, which is supposed to be incoherent and shaky cam.
Steven, you're talking to someone who believes that Batman Begins is the best of the TDK trilogy. You don't need to sell me. I understand. With
Dark Knight Rises had the worst, I feel, especially the
okay. How about this? It's the worst. It's the worst film. The most poorly filmed in Batman Begins. It's terribly. At least in the Dark Knight Rises, you can see it. It's
just talking about the fighting.
The fighting, only the fighting, and it doesn't take me out of the movie. Most certainly,
it doesn't. But I mean, Batman Begins does the fight sequences sort of like how a lot of the Batman films used to do them, where you just get flashes of him hitting somebody. And
if you watch the bonus features, you hear like Christopher Nolan. He talks about it. He goes, "I wanted Batman to be like this mythical, persona. So I wanted it to be like, when it came to fighting, you can't really see him actually doing stuff. But I think obviously, if you're going to do sequels, you can't exactly do that. So then when it came to the fighting, it was like, all right, like it was good. Like it was fine for that world, but then all of a sudden, it was like when it came to BVS, it was like, all right, we have to up this shit. We got to make it like Arkham fucking fighting.
I'm of the opinion that like if Nolan was doing a movie where he was like, ooh, we need like some actual proper choreography in here, he'd get it. Like the lack of good action or the lack of good hand-to-hand combat in Nolan movies is not so much a deficiency, so much as it's not it's not the kind of it almost feels like it'd be a distraction. Like,
can I call his decision making subjectively a deficiency? Because I disagree with him.
I think you can say like it's something you would like to see. I'm not saying I it's just something that whenever I think about it, I think, well, would it really? And like I said, like sure, it'd be cool if there was a parkour scene in Heat, but like. That's not, or like Collateral. Like you're watching Collateral.
I was about to say, pick another example, because Heat's damn near immaculate. I don't see where who's doing parkour in Heat.
That's kind of my point, though. It's like, or like Collateral, or I mean, take any Michael Mann movie or
Collateral is probably a better example, because I could see Blake Cruz doing some crazy shit like that.
Yeah. So. And like sure, you could bring Stahelski in and it's Cruz, like have him do like a big stunt or something, but like that's just not the point with that movie. And
I understand. Yep.
And sure, it'd be added. And I guess the question is, did he try to do it and fail, or did he just not try to do it? And I think that complaint arose from a desire to see that in the movie, or for the desire for a movie to be something different, not so much for a failure to execute on what he was trying to execute on. Maybe,
but it's also
maybe it's more egregious in Rises than the others, but like even in like the Dark Knight, you see like Nolan stages great stunts. I mean, his vehicle stunts are amazing. Or when Batman takes down in the Dark Knight, when he takes down the SWAT team in the construction scene with the grapple gun, and he gets them all hooked. Like that stuff is all awesome, but it's not that type of hand-to-hand combat. And once you see it in the Arkham games, you see it in BVS, and you're like, oh, this is what we've wanted that whole time. It's like, well, yeah, but also like BVS is a very different. I mean, even the action, the car action is different.
It's a different world. Like it's not the same Earth. If we're really like talking, we're really looking at it that way. Yeah, no, I get that. I understand that.
It's also another thing that kind of sticks out because he did everything else really good. Yeah. So this is one area that sticks out.
Right. Thank you, Casey, because it's seriously like the rest of what he does is fucking immaculate. And so like you just get to that one aspect and it's like, all right.
You have like the one guy who like falls back without being kicked.
Oh yeah, he's just like, oh.
That was in Dark Knight Rises. Though.
Yeah, on the rooftop. But no, I mean, when it came to Nolan's films, I think that it was never about the fighting; it was just about everything else, and.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
What everything everything else about The Dark Knight Rises, because that movie's awful.
I
Subjectively,
it's totally awful.
It's not.
Don't hold back, all right.
The rise of Batman. How can it be awful?
It's the Return of the Jedi of the TDK trilogy.
Yeah,
that's how I've always looked at it.
Like seeing that suit in broad daylight didn't do it any favors.
Well, the thing that was always rough about that with me, just a technical thing, is the fact that they shot it during summer in Chicago and it had to be snowing. So it was like, but they were trying to be like, hey, look at that, it's snowing. But then you look in the background, it's like, it's blue skies everywhere and nobody has cold breath. And it was almost like it was just one of those things where like Nolan just needed to he's like, this is not what I envisioned for this, but I was contracted to be like, I got to do. And he did, it was almost like, to me, it felt like it was like, all right, I want to do something different. We're not going to do Joker. Obviously we can't. I'm not going to try to replace Heath Ledger or anything like that. I think maybe originally if he had an idea for the third one, there was going to be still some Joker involved with another character.
I believe that. Yeah. I believe that. I absolutely.
So a lot of things just kind of got messed up when it came to that. And Nolan did his best of trying to be like, all right, let's do Bane. There was just I don't know. It was just a lot of things that didn't work. I mean, all the way down to Talia going, I mean,
so bad.
I don't even know what that was about.
Look,
it was just like, oh, she died. What was that?
Look, how does Nolan looks at that?
That was kind of strange.
How did he not go? Hey, can we do that again? That was a little weak.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened after that was great, though.
All right.
Yes.
But before we continue, Scott, you're looking a little tired, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Even his internet's tired.
Yeah. Even his internet going burp.
You've got to get your beauty sleep before your team wins by fucking 100 tomorrow.
Yes.
Who are they playing? Like Citadel?
Utah State.
Utah State.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're doing them a favor, right? Isn't that what Nick Saban says? Oh, we're doing them a favor by giving them the exposure.
Look, I can't say much because we're playing Colorado State tomorrow, but still,
I mean, at least Colorado State, here's the thing is that Alabama will never travel cross country to take on like an Oregon, to take on a USC,
okay,
to take on anyone in the Pac-12.
Andre, they'll never come up here in like November. They'll never deal with
they
the
don't
snow.
Travel. They don't go anywhere.
They'll be like, you come to us. You come to Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, at the end of the day, they won a lot. So what are you gonna do?
There you go. Scott, go ahead and break out.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast at DC Squawkcast, where a podcast can be found, which did include us dropping our review of Scene 11 of Batman Scene by Scene, talking about creepy peeping Tom Batman staring at Selena Kyle in her underwear. And we're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with entire network shows at squadcastmedia.com. And of course, join us Sunday night here on Film Junkee, where we will be continuing Batman the Phantom Menace stream as we discuss a favorite episode of mine and Dave's, his Silicon Soul.
Yeah, there it is.
The return
All
of
right.
Hard Act, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. All right. Thanks, Scott. Get some
See
sleep.
you guys later.
All right. Take it easy.
And Ben, you're like kind of feeling like you need to get out of here too.
Yeah.
You gotta go research some more scoops.
Yeah. Well, before I leave,
I was late to this, okay, so I didn't see your first.
Yeah, no, we briefly talked about it, but yeah, you know, it was a social experiment, and
it was a social experiment.
To be honest, it actually, you know, it revealed things.
It didn't
because
fail.
I mean, even there was like you know, and I was actually like going. I even gave my moderators a little like, hey, just let you know, there might be some dickheads in the fucking chat just to make sure, because there was like. There was specifically one guy who was like, wow. It was like, dude, this is not a religion. I didn't mean to we didn't mean to offend you. We were just, you know.
He was in the chat?
Oh yeah, there was one.
No, it was in Twitter. It was in Twitter.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's how they get, you know. It's
what the
What's this like, over? Dude, it was like, hey, you know, I mean, it was just something, and we pointed out stuff when it comes to all this, and it's like, hey, you know, when it comes to this, it's whatever. You know, if the scoopers want to keep on doing what they're doing, fine. But at the same time, when stuff's wrong, hey, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna say yeah, wrong. Hey, when they're right, fine, cool, congratulations. But can we also mention when the many times that they're wrong?
Fuck up.
Can we do that too?
You mean the majority of the time? When
yes, which is a lot of the time.
When you compare this to sports, when you have sports analysts and insiders that are wrong, people
all the fucking time,
blow them the fuck up, and that's the name of the game. But these guys can't take it. They're like, oh, well, we got
little
some
bitches.
stuff right.
They're little bitches. They turn to little bitches.
I find that sports, like people who are in sports media or other, there tends to be a little bit more crossover, whereas people who follow movie news tend to not follow a whole lot of other types of news. And have like very little context over like what words are.
Well, some people just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't look at anything else. They don't want to like look at other people's opinions or other people's like info. They just like, oh, this person over here is saying what I want. And then it's like over here we're. You know, and I'm not even like, we're not even going, hey, guess what? It's like, we're not saying like Zack Snyder's not coming back or the Snyderverse. No, we're just going like, hey, this Snyderverse, we're hoping it's going to be salvaged. There's going to be something salvaged, but this is what we're getting over here. But we're not promising that Zack has been, you know, him and Zaslav are going to Cabo together and having drinks and being like, hey, what are we going to do with your DC?
I'll say this. Because you said that, I'll say this. And this was going back like, I don't know, 2 years ago. Okay. The last person that ever told me that Zack Snyder had a meeting with David Zaslav and his team. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Now this piece of shit is nowhere to be found.
Gone. They're gone.
He was the last person. I would say he was the first person to start saying that.
So I stole. I stole like a scoop.
I think you did. I think you did.
Yeah.
From the grave.
But anyway, no, yeah, it was a social experiment just to shine some light on people's bias because they want to hear what they want to hear, and it's unfortunate because you know people like us that we want to have this type of conversation where we can kind of estimate what could happen, but we're not gonna live and die behind that idea that yes, where people well there are people, which is fine, like you want to make this your hustle, but when somebody calls you out, don't call you fucking dogs after that person who calls you out.
And this was stuff that like I know a lot of people haven't been around this long, but like I don't mean like people here in the chat so much as a lot of people following this stuff. I'm always surprised about people that are like haven't been following this stuff since like just after the Snyder Cut came out or since November 2019 or whatever. But like back in like Comic-Con of 2018, I mean, this is like 6 months, 7-8 months after the movie came out. People were saying like, oh, Zack is going to be at Comic-Con. He's going to announce the Snyder Cut there. And Dave and I were like, no, that's not going to happen. And also there was that Wall Street Journal article was going to come out, and I was like, I've heard from multiple industry sources, people who know the writer or know about the article. I've heard from multiple different places that it's gonna be a hit piece, and people were like, oh, that's gonna be whatever.
It's gonna be
and
restored.
then and then not only do people not like buy it, but also like we were attacked for being like, well, you're anti-Snyder for saying he's not gonna be at Comic-Con. No, we're being factual. Why are you killing hype? I'm not killing hype. I'm just telling you what's factual. I'm not like revel. I know some people might revel in that. We're not reveling in it. We're just being accurate. And then those same people after the fact are like, oh, like after the Ben Fritz piece hit, or after Comic-Con happened and there was no Snyder Cut stuff, like people got like depressed AF, and it's like that's like because everyone's always like, you get these like chronically online people who are just clinging for every little breadcrumb of like every little thing that's going to happen, because there's this the FOMO, the fear of missing out, of like, oh, Zach's going to drop an Easter egg, and then this is going to happen, and then Ray Fisher's going to come back, and it's like you think that if you go to sleep you're going to miss the whole thing. It's like and then when someone's like, no, that's not true, you're like, but what am I wasting my life on then? It's like, well, maybe go touch some grass, and like this isn't that huge. And if it happens, it happens.
Disconnect from Twitter.
Now that you say that, I remember that I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember there was this guy that kept a big library about an individual who, and then somebody exposed to him, hey, this guy has been a fraud since day one. All this stuff that you have in his library is a lie. And the librarian, who dedicated his entire life to keep records and all these fallacies about this individual, turn around and stab the guy, kill him, so the truth doesn't come out.
That's a great like a proverb.
Exactly, but it is. I don't remember where. I'll remember one day.
That's very much what this is, and that's why I say sometimes that, like, especially when you start talking about these personalities like the Grace Randolphs or whatever, it's not just her, but it's you get Campia and you get all these other people who, a lot of them are really good at their job, as in like their job is cultivating an audience and serving them like what they're interested in, getting attention. And it's not about whether that's accurate or it's not. And that's not to say it's inherently inaccurate, but it's to say that it's the people line up based on what they want to be true. Like some people are interested just in terms, but like once you pick a side, or this is why I hate the idea of like a fandom, like the people assembling themselves in this way, because you have all these people who are like, oh, I want Affleck back, I want Snyder back, I want all these things, and therefore I will prefer my news coming from people who say it is going to happen, versus and I will not listen to people who say it's not going to happen, not based on whether or not like what the track record is or what the accuracy or likelihood. It's based on what they want to know. And it resembles, like, it's almost like being in this like movie news industry is almost like WWE a lot of times, where it's like the fights, like nobody cares about like whether or not the fights are real or not. They just want like their guy to win. Like it's entertainment, and so to them they're not really truly invested in the facts. Who wants to be depressed over what you want to happen possibly not happen? Why not just live in a simulation world where it's always happening?
The stake,
right? And you get to chase this like fake high of exciting things happening, instead of just being like, well, I guess I'll like go get a job or something because
ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I know this fake is not real, but
that is bliss. But like, it's a cipher. Why couldn't I just take the blue pill? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I know. That's pretty much it.
And once again, that's not even me saying like he's not coming back. Get over it. It's
no.
People have never.
But three people have already twisted what you said into that. No, Steve.
Because they know these people are coming with a destiny that they already know. This is what I want to hear.
And that was clear to me.
That's right. The Air Cut and Henry Cavill being at DC Fandom, right?
Because I gained a lot of followers leading up to Justice
I have a
League.
clip here.
Oh, there we go.
See, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. We saw the clip. We don't need to, we don't need to
I'm kidding. I wasn't gonna
but at the same time, it's just like it's stuff like that where it's like they're so sure, but then it's like, well, but you didn't scoop the fact that wasn't going to happen. But at the same time, it's like I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Nobody knew it was going to happen, sure, but then you're promising like, okay, at this point, okay, so Cavill was going to be at DC Fandom. The Snyder Cut was going to be announced. When I'm going, my information does not,
because if you think about it, the way Comic-Con went, the idea could be, okay, so Comic-Con went so bad for DC compared to what Marvel did. So, logic would say that DC is going to go all in. You know what I mean? So like, it's easy to say those things, feeling like, yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. And then when it doesn't, you're like, oh shit.
It's got that sports news mentality too, where you've got these people that are rooting for a team. They're like, they need to have a press conference now. They need to cut them. They need to
over-sensationalize it. Because the whole thing about it is just overselling it. Like, for instance, that if Deadline would have come out with the whole thing about Henry, nobody would have spoken about it. But if somebody would have said
whole thing, but literally all that was from Deadline was one, like, it might have even been in parentheses or something, where they were just like, all
they said was that there was buzz. They said there was buzz,
exactly. Which basically internet
like
chatter.
If they would have done it, anybody else could have come and say something big is going to happen San Diego Comic-Con, and that's all it would take to set this fandom on fire. It's gonna be Restore the Snyderverse. It's gonna be Zack Snyder showing up. It's gonna be the entire league showing up on the fucking, like, we will have fucking streams for days just based upon that little blurb. You see what I'm saying? Because that's why we already wired to do these kind of things, and the fans gravitate towards that too.
Well, I mean, we talked about that after it happened. We said all that would have made us happy was if Cavill had walked out on stage and didn't even have to say anything. Just smile at the audience.
Well, like I said, this is a lesson that like I learned this in like 2017, 2018, leading up to Justice League. I was reporting on. They were still saying it was Snyder's vision, but yet he was gone. Like, how much input did he have, and was he? Some people were even saying like, "Oh, Snyder's coming back to do some of the reshoots," and like all sorts of stuff like that. And all of the stuff that I was writing at the time was like, "Don't believe the rumors that it's being made lighter and it's totally de-Snydering it and all that stuff." And I was pointing to like. I was like, look, I looked into the Directors Guild guidelines, and it's like against the Directors Guild of America guidelines for them to be able to do this. Like, Snyder wasn't fired because they can't do that, and they can't come in and make decisions that Snyder doesn't approve of because he directed all of principal photography. And
that's why his name is still on it.
Yeah, and all sorts of different reasons why, like, leading up to the movie, I was like, no, all the facts, everything we can derive. There's quotes from all the actors, quotes from all the producers. Guidelines in the Directors Guild manual saying
even logically
this is Snyder's movie, and then you sit down and that first scene starts and you're like, well, fuck, that was wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, God damn it! I remember my smile going just.
But I remember the lead up to that. I'm sure you remember that too, Dave. Is people were like, anyone who had a bit of a platform and was saying that. Man, I was getting cheered on. I had so many people that were like, "Yeah, Steven's got the facts."
We were gaslit.
Yeah, but you remember people like yeah, Steven and Junkee. They're all the only ones that are like true believers, and they're sticking to the facts. They're not buying this reboot bullshit. And the movie came out, like, we were wrong. We were wrong about that.
We're totally wrong.
So we took all the Snyder Cut stuff really, really seriously. And what was funny is it really quickly became apparent, like, oh yeah, when we were being cheered on by people who were like, "Oh, you're the only ones with the integrity," and then I was wrong. Yeah. And then I'd be like, "Oh, well, he's not going to be at Comic-Con," and it's like, "Well, you're just anti-Snyder," and then he's not at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
hello.
Yeah. And then and every which way, like, we were right about just about everything. Like, that's not even being facetious. Like we would just not say anything if we didn't know, and if we did know, we would say.
The black and white images were.
And like I said, that's not ego stroke, but I can definitively say every step along the way, I got booed when I said anything that wasn't what they wanted to hear, and I got Steven has integrity whenever it was something I did want to hear, and and it never, and like, I hated that because, like, no, I don't have integrity. I'm just confirming something that your bias wants me to confirm. Don't call that integrity. You can say, like, this news makes me happy. Yeah, but that's not integrity. That's just me, like, it's like masturbatory.
Like, and that's the difference between subjectivity and objectivity.
I mean, when it comes to these scoopers, you guys, I mean, look, I'm not afraid to admit that, like, look, I've been on the other side of this. And the thing, too, is that throughout all of this, I was friends with Dave. I'm friends with Ben, friends with Casey. And, like, so, but
really?
all the while, yeah.
Are we, though?
Believe it or not. But
Casey's like, really?
What's my daughter's name?
Fucking no.
There you go.
Maria.
Go fuck yourself.
But
girl.
And so I heard some things. I heard some things that were like didn't correlate whatsoever, and I was always just like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and it just goes to show you that, like, when somebody wants to spell out a narrative, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that that narrative is spelled out to the people who are following them, because they don't want them to go anywhere else but right in their back pocket. So it's pretty.
And you literally just described how most scoopers operate.
Well, you
exactly
also get that capitalization on FOMO
100%.
that I was talking about earlier too, and what you see with a lot of, especially like I don't know, I'm not trying to point, but like you go back to like the light casts of the world.
Oh,
and what happens with those situations is you get people who are updating their scoops like every day. And by the time you end up at whatever the result is, whatever they were saying, a year ago
changed.
is no longer relevant. It's like, well, they were exactly right. And it's like, well, yeah, because they every single day they bent the curve a little bit until it's like Batman in Lego Batman throwing the Batarang. It's like first try. It's like, well, no, I mean, yeah, good job.
Walking up to a roulette table and be like, I'm gonna bet on black.
You would be like, Affleck movie is gonna come out, and then like Ben Affleck would be like, I'm not gonna do it, and you're like, oh, he's just playing coy, and like, you string that along for so long, and then he ends up in the Flash, and you're like, oh, we were right the whole time. And it's like, no.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that.
The whole time.
We told you he was coming back. I'm like, not like that.
That's not
idiot.
Yep.
But
you didn't say that he was gonna show up in 5 fucking movies. You said that he was gonna get his own standalone movie on HBO Max.
And they were actually like, they were actually scouting locations.
Like, for example, people like forever. Oh, Cavill's back. Cavill signed a contract. And I'm talking like
there was
2 years ago.
A director, a DP already assigned.
Yeah.
What happened to that? I mean, I was
so
like,
you compare now, like we know Affleck's back, but like Cavill, we're like, is he back yet? Well, now you go back a year or two to all those, like, remember being strung along with very similar rumors about Cavill from.
I remember seeing a headline saying he's going to be in an Injustice movie or something like that.
Yeah, and because that's reading the tea leaves of people assumed he was going to be back because of like the Snyder Cut and stuff, and then now it's very clear based on what the situation is now that was all 100% bogus. But all of the people that were reporting that at the time, and then when it comes true, in a month or two, if it does, I don't know, but hypothetically, if it did, all the people that were claiming it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, are gonna be like, oh, we were right. It's like the whole thing is just like a game of like, and sometimes people hear stuff and sometimes they don't. I don't know, but the point is
literally it's like a gambling problem. That's what it is. It's a gambling addiction.
It's like the scene from Blank Man, where he's like, if you don't have any news, you go to the board.
Oh my God!
Yeah. That was a nice. That's a deep pull. Right there. That's a deep pull.
We'll have an S&M sex.
Yes.
That's what they do. They're like, Batman, Ben Affleck, solo movie. There it is. Run it. I mean, they're just throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. And eventually, if you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually everything's gonna sound like it sticks because you've kind of heard it.
And then
eventually
already. You're gonna get something correct too. And then I hate that too when the fans go like, look at all the stuff they got right. I'm like, yeah, but what about the shit they got wrong?
Right.
I mean,
right.
if I can be like, hey, okay, they got that right, they got that right. Can you admit that they got this wrong, that wrong, this wrong? It's like we have to have a mutual ground here, like.
Right.
We have to admit that they're not batting 1,000. You're making it seem like they bat 1,000. They're not batting 1,000. Nope. If anything, they're batting 285. It's like it's a normal batting average for a baseball. It's like, and that's fine if you want to like live in that world. Perfectly fine, but don't come at me when I'm going. these guys are bullshit, and then you're like getting all huffy puffy and like typing at me with capital letters, going like, "What the fuck? You're above this," or something like this, and I'm like, I've been, I call out the scooping game all the time. Am I trying to start like a war or anything like that?
Well,
no, I'm not. I don't want to do that.
It's like a more of a fandom thing, even though than a scooping thing. Because like you look at go back to now you've got these. I really don't want to get into this deep, but like I've seen these clips popping up of these streams that like these like whatever fans that are still campaigning or whatever are doing these like, oh, it turns out that like all of these things that were going on in fandom that like people got trolled viciously over, turns out they were knowingly lying the whole time and just going with it because it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, And once again, that was all stuff that was leveraged like against us all the time.
Yeah.
And but the point is that like people know that someone's running someone else's account or whatever, but because their team needs to win, and so they're gonna just all agree to lie about it collectively because it's a team game, not a facts.
And what is winning and losing?
There's nothing to it. I mean, there's really it's clout. It's this. It's all just like, but at the same time, it's like all we want to do is have some cool fucking shit to watch. I mean, that's all
it is, really.
And talk about it after.
And even more than that, like when you leave the Twitter sphere or the internet, who even knows or gives a shit?
Nobody cares.
That's part of what I hate about like. I think bring it back a little bit. I don't expand the topic. But why, like with Rings of Power and review bombing and all, this affects all sorts of other areas. Why I hate like when some of that type of stuff becomes such a huge focus, or anytime there's like a Star Wars movie and you all of a sudden it's like something is trending like racist about Star Wars and it's trending because of all the people reacting to like two people. It feels like a lot of times that any arguments in these online spaces become the smallest minority that is saying something outrageous becomes the focal point of the discussion when it's not actually like for like talking about review bombing and stuff. That's such a like by its nature. It's not many people. Like that's the point of review bombing is it's a few people pretending to be a lot of people, but it becomes like the focus on the discussion. It's like, okay, so now the topic is it's not three people, but we're talking about three people now who are doing the review bombing as if they are the most vocal opinion when really the conversation is the reviews are bogus. Let's talk about the show. But no, everything's about the reviews. Everything's about the and then you put like the diversity, for example. It's like under the microscope, and it's like you watch the show and it doesn't matter. Like I'm not like I don't know if those elves were all white. Like it doesn't matter. And I read the Silmarillion. I read I don't care.
So stupid.
But because a couple dudes decided to I think exploit the fact that taking that spotlight would now I'd like to see and maybe I'm wrong, but it's presented as if it's like people are split down the middle, and on one side you've got people who are mad there's black hobbits, and on the other side you've got everybody else, and I don't think that's the case, but the conversation is so dominated by it that it's like you can't talk about Rings of Power without talking about the diversity instead of it just being the
can't have elves that are that have good resistance to the sun.
And it's definitely not the case. Like I saw like a Richard Newby, Hollywood Reporter, like he's been responding to way too many trolls over the last couple of days.
He does do that.
He has felt the need, and I understand why he feels the way that he does. But it is one of those cases where, from personal experience, I could tell him, dude, just log off Twitter. The majority of the plan, but he feels that, and he wrote a piece today. He wrote a piece because he's gotten like the trolls have like sent him disgusting shit, like have responded to him in a disgusting manner, and it can be difficult in the moment to tell somebody, hey, yes, these idiots are getting a rise out of you, and they're telling you this on Twitter. but it's not emblematic of the majority
Okay,
of the.
Before we continue, Ben, you need to go, right?
Yeah, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, okay. I was about to
Get
say, I
outta
was like,
here.
yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. Follow Ben Everts. He's got all the scoops.
Not a
Yeah,
scoop.
no, I
Everything you
don't.
need.
No, I don't. I don't.
You're gonna
It was an experiment, you said, right? An
Yeah.
experiment.
It was a social experiment, and it
You're gonna-
worked exactly the way that I expected that it did it, but it was a social experiment.
You're gonna have to keep not a scooper in your video for like the next couple of vodka streams.
Hashtag not a scooper.
But
I love it.
although about New York Comic Con. Nice guy.
Oh, there we go.
Oh boy. All right.
Well,
Thanks, Ben. Yeah.
But no, all right, never mind. All right, so guys, thank you.
All right.
Later, Ben.
See you guys.
All right. Love you, Ben.
Love you guys.
All right, continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say not to diminish the like objectionableness of the opinions being expressed, but in the case of like the people that like Richard is arguing with, I would posit that they are more invested in whatever it takes to get him to be triggered than it is in whatever than whatever the actual topic itself is.
Certainly.
Like if he was like, you know what, I don't like black hobbits either, they'd be like, okay, well, there's not enough child molestation in this show, or like something like
Right.
like they would change their opinion as readily as necessary in order to get the response.
Yes. Well,
therefore, the response is the fuel, not the inherently the opinion itself.
Well, and I've because I mean I agree with Richard like in principle, and like I've responded to like maybe one or two of these guys, but I look at him and I'm like, okay, this dude has like 2 followers. Their account was made this month, and it's like, what are
Tell me about it,
I always hate it when like people with big followings like will quote tweet and then you click on them and it's like, yeah, they have 3 followers. What are you doing? Like, don't even pay attention to stuff. I mean, I've done it too, though. We've all done it, and you just gotta like put yourself in check. You got to put yourself in check.
And I'm not trying to come down on him at all because I understand.
No, he's a very talented writer. I enjoy his work.
Right, and I understand the position that he's in, and especially from a cultural standpoint, it as much as you don't want it to press buttons, it does. It does because I even said this. I said this earlier on my Patreon show, Friday Flight. I said that I was talking about how when I watched the other Lord of the Rings trilogies, as a black man, that is something I thought of. We're all the brown people. Why is it only orcs? I did think that. I'm being serious. I did absolutely, like in the back of my mind. It wasn't like it affected my enjoyment of the movies. I still like the movies. I still like everybody that was cast in the movies. It's not like I was pointing the finger at Peter Jackson going, "What's wrong with you?" No, but in the back of my head, the representation thing did come up. It is a thing. Like it's not a thing for everybody, but for a number of people it is. So when I saw this show, take a focus on that and like, okay, what a black elf or a black dwarf? Okay, or all right, cool. And there is that part of me that's like, I wish the movies had done a little more of that, but whatever. Yeah. See what it goes on. Let's see what it is with the show. But I wasn't even really like necessarily gonna watch the show because, like I said, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan. And then all this shit happens, and I'm like, oh no, I'm watching it now.
I saw that post you did too. I wasn't gonna watch it. Now I'm totally gonna watch it.
I'm totally gonna watch that shit now. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even just and seeing the clips or even seeing like pictures of this and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, cool, like that looks great. Like, what is the problem here exactly? And it's just always, obviously there's always going to be that side that goes, it's woke, and I'm so tired of that fucking word. I'm so tired of it.
We talked about this earlier, Dave, about how like every fandom because basically what these Lord of the Rings guys are doing now, it's like the same people that act like Captain Michael Burnham is such a woke Mary Sue on Star Trek Discovery. Oh my God! Why did Star Trek become so political?
Always been political.
Right. They're like, when did Star Trek become so political? September 8th, 1966.
Yeah,
the date of the first fucking episode.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously,
that's the thing. They always say that even with comic book stuff. It's like, Yeah, there's stuff. There's always political aspects to it. I mean, there's always going to be that. That's the thing.
I've seen people argue like, when did X-Men become so political?
What? I know. I've always seen that too, and I'm like, wait a minute, that is supposed to be more political than a lot of the other.
Yeah,
shit.
they're very political.
Did you read? Did you read the X-Men?
Do you get that these are like?
Speaking of X-Men,
what did you think X-Men meant?
X-Men has always been very political. If you especially read
Speaking of
older,
X-Men, we know that they're coming into the MCU now, right? So do you think they would tackle all that stuff, especially with
they have to?
Especially with Magneto's backstory.
Well, they tackle that with the original stuff a little bit.
That was Fox, though.
But this is MCU.
Casey, I feel like if the X-Men had been there, like in the first couple of phases, they would have tried to skate around it, similar to how they did skating around the whole Hydra Nazi thing with Captain America: The First Avenger. I think now they are open to I think they're more open to the idea now. Now, how far they're going to go, I don't know, but I do think they'll go further now than they would have like 10 years ago.
Maybe,
Magneto's backstory isn't even relevant now, though.
Like committing.
Oh, because of the Holocaust thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like it's so far back now. How does that even be relevant in modern?
Well, it depends. I mean, apparently Denzel Washington's going to be cast in something. Maybe he's Magneto. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but that wouldn't.
Okay. As a black man, I don't want that to happen. I've actually this came up like a couple weeks ago because Giancarlo Esposito, who's also on that list, was talking about that, right? And so they were talking about like which one, because he said Magneto and Professor X, and I said, look,
he'd be a good Professor X.
He would, but I said, look, this is the Black Panther argument. You know how like all the nerd QAnoners are like, make Black Panther white, and it's like, no, you can't do that because that affects the cultural like nature of his.
That's what I'm talking about, because his backstory kind of is not relevant now.
Because it's so far in the future now.
But you can't kill it, Casey. Like that's the problem. Is like that's.
Also, Feige would not introduce them back then, right? He's introducing it now.
But it's also the X-Men, and specifically with Magneto. Like Magneto was turned into a baby at one point in the comics. Like so like you have time travel, you've got age play, like
they're really gonna have to do some.
I don't think it's that complicated to say. Oh,
they kind of did it with Cap and Bucky.
Yeah,
yeah.
They could find something with that.
They're gonna have to figure something out to kind of tweak that backstory, because I mean when you got the original X-Men movie that came out over 20 years ago, it still worked in that opening scene where you see him like he's like reaching at
Dave, you don't even have to go back that far. Go back to First Class. First Class did it.
True.
Where they retcon that scene where you see what happened right after that scene where he talks to Kevin Bacon.
God, it was so good.
Right.
Man, I always forget how good First Class.
But no, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad you brought up Denzel Washington. I'm glad we're here, Dave, because this allows me to ask this question. I know what were you going to say something, Steven?
I was going to say in the Apocalypse they went back to that too, didn't they? Wasn't that like Auschwitz or whatever that he?
Oh, it's true. Yeah, that's true.
I always forget about.
That's right. Apocalypse.
I like
Ivan Ooze.
I know you do, and I'm like,
No, okay. I will agree that yes, he does have Ivan Ooze tendencies.
That killed it. Like when I saw the comparison, I was like, God damn it! Yep, man. How'd they miss that? I mean, come on.
I understand. I've seen the images. I understand the complaint.
It's so uncanny. I was like, wow, that's.
Well, Ray, what were you gonna say about Denzel?
Well, okay, so that list. That came from a verified that I've never heard of, but it's been regurgitated by all the regurgitators, and apparently we're gonna have this confirmed to us at D23, like next week, right?
Weird.
Okay, so obviously, obviously, out of all the names on that list, I mean, yes, Denzel, John Boyega, Jodie Comer, who's I've never seen any of her stuff, anything like that. Giancarlo Esposito.
You didn't see Free Guy?
The what?
Free Guy.
Yeah. I have not seen Free Guy. No.
Last
I have not seen Last Duel either. No, I need to see both.
Oh man, yeah.
But obviously, the name that matters to the most of us on that list is Henry Cavill. So how concerned should we be about his name being on that list?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things because we heard the whole Hyperion, right? Hyperion, whatever. That, to me, when I read that, I went, that's ridiculous. Why would he want to be like that character who nobody really knows? And it would be at the end of Loki, they'd said, or something like that. I'm like, it just seems like such a minor character for such a name. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what if there's other characters on the table for him? And I'm just kind of going like, okay, what's the opposite of like a Superman? Well, there's villains. I mean, what if he ends up being a Doctor Doom or a Galactus or something like that? What if there's stuff on the table for him for that? And I'm kind of going like, all right, that would be pretty cool. But at the same time, we got to go, all right, but we want him back as Superman. So it's like, all right, so can he do any of that and be Superman still? Or is this just a play to be like, hey, I still want Superman and Marvel's talking to me. What are you guys going to give me? Like,
so, and that's what concerns me right there, because like, I hope it's what you just said. I hope it is a ploy that he's using for Warner Brothers, because if this is a case where we get to D23 next week and he is announced as a Marvel character, then I hope to God it's Hyperion, because if it is Doom or if it is Galactus or if it is like a major villain,
there's no Superman.
That's Superman's over. It's it.
Yeah,
because you can't do
because Dr. Doom is going to be the next big baddie after Kang.
Exactly,
I would say. And then, of course, obviously he'll be introduced in Fantastic Four at the end of 2024. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, if it's that, but then at the same time, I was like, damn, I didn't even consider that when maybe that's a possibility. And I was like, shit, can you imagine a Henry Cavill Dr. Doom? That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hyperion, it's like, all right. And, I see somebody in the, I see Marvel Maniac talking about like, yeah, he might not just be a minor character, sure. But at the same time, I'm just looking at the similarities that there is similarities to Superman when you read like his backstory. And I'm like, does Cavill really want to go like that route? Or would he want to go for the route of like, hey, Dr. Doom or Galactus or something like that? It'd be like more bigger. Go bigger.
I just think that if he ends up in a Marvel movie and that precludes him from being Superman, then like you didn't want him back as Superman anyway, because they're clearly not.
No, I will agree with that.
That means they're hovering over that reboot button where it's like, all right, we're just going to like,
I will go ahead and push that down.
If they can't confidently reel him back in, then like you didn't want that anyway.
I agree. Exactly. I do agree with that. I very much agree. And my whole point is like, it's not even necessarily like the idea that he can't play two characters in both. We've seen actors do that. It's the idea that he can't play one of the biggest characters in DC and one of the biggest villains potentially in Marvel. You can't go like to either extremes. Not like that.
If he were to get a major villain like Dr. Doom or Galactus, or God forbid, if he were to get Bond, then I would say that it's over for being Superman. And then who knows what they will do at that point.
But
what'd you say, Casey? What'd you say, Casey, when you said something you cut out? I don't remember. What? You said something when Ray was talking. Again. No, you said something when Ray was talking, and I was like, I didn't hear exactly what he said because, like, all right, never mind. It's long past.
No, but I do think Steven is right though. If it ends up a case where like he signs with Marvel and he doesn't end up being, then their hand, like you said, their hand was hovering over that reboot button, which will be unfortunate. It will suck. And it will, I will hate the headlines, and this is all hypothetical. We don't know shit. But, like, I will hate the headlines of Marvel steals Superman. I will fucking hate
that. My God.
It will be really frustrating to see that. But
that'll be exactly what happened, though. I mean, if DC wants to bring him back, like, that is a Marvel clowning on DC. Like,
they're like, Kevin Feige's like, fuck you, Alan Horn.
But I was gonna say, would that be why he'd do it though? Would he sign?
No.
No.
maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit, but at the same time, it's like Henry Cavill is now a name. He has value.
Yes, exactly. So, he would be
valuable.
That's
an asset. If you were able to get Henry Cavill, like, dude, I got another asset. Henry Cavill.
And then the fact that you're like, hey, we cast Henry Cavill as a villain, and I think Cavill would be like, yeah, I don't want to, if I'm not going to play the Boy Scout, let me play the villain again, because when people look at me with my black hair slicked back and stuff like that, they look at me as Superman. If you can get me to, especially if you play Dr. Doom, I'm going to be wearing a mask. My face is going to end up getting fucked up. Oh, that's like totally opposite of fucking Superman or something like that.
If
he's great as a villain too.
If you've got like two NFL teams bidding for the same free agent, and who was a former player on like one of the teams, and the other team swipes him up, that's gonna be it's a bidding war. There's all sorts of things going on.
It's a bidding war. It's really a bidding war.
The narrative is gonna be run as so and so gets LaDainian Tomlinson over.
Okay, so like Steven, here let's go. Let's run with that. Let's roll with that for a second, right? This is a hypothetical. It will not happen. We know this won't happen. I'm about to say it. Oh no, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect, Andre, because of Steven. It's perfect. And he knows what I'm about to say. He knows exactly what I'm about to say. Headline tomorrow: Lions trade for Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, but not trade. It would have to be a free agent.
It would have to be a free agent. Right. Yes, you're right. Lions sign Justin Fields.
Lions sign Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler. Oh. Smoking Jay.
Right. If the Lions signed Jay Cutler and then came down to Soldier Field and trounced the Bears,
right?
What would what would the headline be?
And I would have fun with it, and I would roll with it because we'd be winning. Yes,
because you're a Lions fan,
right? Yes, exactly. So
it's a very key.
So no, I get it. I get what you're saying. It's just that.
Yeah,
but it's a weird thing. But at the end of the day, it would be a business.
Mitch Trubisky.
It's a weird thing because actors aren't like, yeah, I mean, we can make the comparison to like sports, but at the same time, it's like actors could still do, play for both teams, I guess you could say.
Right. But I mean, like at the end of the day, look, there's different. How do I say this right way? There are fans, and then there are fans that treat this like it's their sport. You know what I mean? And they just go all out. Like, I'll fucking kill you if you say this wrong thing, and I want you dead, death threats, all that stuff. And that's just that's where they at. That's where they're at. Like this.
Well, and then the thing is, like, Superman is such a big character. It's and what we always keep on saying is you got to get Superman's house in order for DC. So it's like if he's already at Marvel, it's like, well, fuck that. I mean, we need this guy to be like in multiple fucking movies, cameos. This is our guy. There's just so much.
If I'm David and again, I wish that Dan Lin was already hired. But if I'm David Zaslav and I saw that tweet yesterday, I'd have called him immediately and been like, "What do you need?" Like,
just get him in the room, get him on the phone, give him what
maybe he's already signed.
Maybe.
Yeah,
could be.
That's true.
Dude,
it could already be signed.
Seriously,
he could already be a Black Adam.
We're all hoping for that. We've all hoped that he already filmed that Black Adam scene, which apparently a lot of people were like saying possibly was the case. I mean, that's the thing. It's such a weird thing. We won't find out till October, of course.
I'm gonna be so. That's when that scene is gonna.
Oh my god! I know. It's
man. At the end of that movie, I'm gonna be like,
a weird thing.
Pounding, like.
Yeah, but then it's gonna get
a headless cameo.
How many people are gonna?
It was almost like before watching Justice League, right before the first scene, you wanted to see if everything you were hearing was true or false.
Right.
Oh my god!
Why do I feel like
I'm so traumatized from that because I like push back against that whole the mustache thing and blah blah blah. And I was like, that's bullshit. They would never do it. And then the opening scene,
off the bat.
Oh my god, they were right
off the bat.
Like, how much of the Justice League stuff was they would never, and then you're watching it, and you're like, They did. I can't believe
that opening scene just totally took my soul away from me.
I tell you
my
what,
soul left my body.
You can take comfort in the fact that it didn't take any of you 6 fucking months to like admit that shit. Like I was in cognitive delusion for like until July of 2018. I couldn't believe that. Like my brain would not allow me to believe that it had happened.
I tried to convince myself it was all right, and then after a
Oh
while,
yeah,
I was
we
like,
all did.
no,
We all did.
This is
I
really
tried
bad.
my best to be as optimistic as possible, but then like 5 days later, I fucking went fuck this, and I didn't even think I 5 days later in my video, I said that's not Zack Snyder's Justice League. I said it twice, and I was like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I always try to take time. Yeah, no, that was totally Zach's thing, and I love him for that, for putting his name on that shit. But I remember I was like, oh shit, I did say that back then. I said Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it was just trying to comment. I'm like, that wasn't Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And also from like November, the second half of November 2017, maybe some of December, the fan peer pressure was to be supportive of the movie because Zach had a tragedy. The assumption was that there wasn't more, and it was, and even campaigning was there were people who were hardcore fans who were saying you shouldn't campaign for it because of Zach's tragedy. It's insensitive to.
He handpicked Joss,
Oh god, remember that news?
Even excluding Joss, there was like, well, he didn't film everything he wanted to film, and so he'd have to go back and refilm more. And it's the movie that he was shooting when he lost. Like there was so much wrapped up in it where it was like, just let him move on and be respectful. And then once people realize that there was more out there, that changes and Zach wanted it out. That changes the conversation entirely. But that is a brief few week era of like what it was like to be a Zack Snyder fan on Twitter or wherever, that a lot of people lose context on before it was known and apparent that there is something out there and Zach would like it released. It was a weird territory of how appropriate is it to campaign to make this happen.
Absolutely.
At that time, it was also a war was going on between the BVS fans versus the critics or whoever wanted to move on from the that tone of the DCU. So people were like, let's support Justice League because it's Zack's movie, and this will, if this flops, then they will definitely move on from this and reboot the whole thing. So some people were just wrapped up in that as well, because I know I saw Collider's review after Justice League came out. Harloff and everyone were on purpose being positive about the movie. Because they wanted,
you know what's funny about that? I was at the same screening that Harloff was on too.
Really?
He was like, oh yeah, he was at the same screening I was. I almost went up and said hi to him, but I was like, nah. I was too like heartbroken.
That like a lot of fans might not even appreciate this. I know for a fact, I don't know about like Harloff and all that, but I know for a fact a lot of people in critic circles were soft on their review because of Snyder's strategy. Yeah. Nobody wanted to put the screws in on the movie. That was part of the reason it was bad was because of the family tragedy that resulted in Zach leaving. And these are all things that, like, years later, people are like, how dare you not be like whatever, and I'd never really had any nice things to say about the movie in general. So it's not like I was like a big defender of it at the time, but there's so much context of these kinds of things that is entirely lost 5 years later, of like the critics were actually like the good reviews partially was because they were like, oh yeah, Whedon fixed it and stuff like that, but also because they like nobody wanted to dunk on it because of that. Now, fans have maybe changed their mind on how they want to approach this stuff a little bit over the past, or like their interactions with fans have like not been so great, but it was a very different landscape.
Yeah.
Such a
and it was just like there was a point I remember where I was like avoiding things because I didn't want to, like, my brain just wouldn't, and then finally there was just too much shit. There was just too much evidence. Like that, because that was when Zach started posting stuff, and that was when we started seeing like the VFX stuff And I remember one of the big things that really pissed me off was the behind the scenes footage of the shot where first the behind the scenes footage of Cavill, sans mustache, clean shaven in the principal photography, wearing the suit. I'm like, oh, how the fuck didn't he use those shots? But then the shot of them when they're looking at dark side through the boom tube, like you see, like seeing it from that angle, just knowing that existed, my brain was like, oh fuck this.
Yeah.
Before that, the leaks came out, right, from Ascended Ancient. That those were like
that
real
was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw Cyborg like learning how to fly. It was just like, wait, where was that at?
That happened on Thanksgiving. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was at a family fucking get together, and all of a sudden my phone started blowing up with like, "Hey, you seen this?" And I was like, "Shit!" And then I was like, literally telling people, "I'm like, sorry, it's just stuff that I'm getting."
The hologram one was actually like the bigger one for me. Like the hologram one, I was like, what is this? Like,
what's happening in this scene? Why am I seeing missiles and all kinds of weapons? And it was like, what's going on here? And you would never know unless you saw the movie. I mean,
and the fact that it was so hard to place that stuff early on was funny too, because it got to the point where like later on stuff would come out and people had this all figured out with like, this happens here, this happens there. But like early on stuff like that would come out and people were like, I have no idea what fucking movie this is from. Like this is just... This exists somewhere.
Fucking like, guys, the Supergirl. Remember when people thought that was
because it's smaller.
I remember when people were saying like it's Supergirl. I'm like, what?
Why would she be in
Supergirl?
It? I heard some shit about the history lesson that would fucking. I was just like, what? I think you know what I'm talking about. But I mean, earlier Dave was talking about the intro to Justice League, and then when you compare that intro to Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's so drastically different.
Not even close.
Not even close. And I remember it's one of the only times where I watched a movie where when I first saw the intro to Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was like this surreal feeling of like we're back. We're back in the Snyderverse. I mean,
you knew immediately that the movie. You knew immediately that the movie you were about to watch was the sequel to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Just that feeling. It was so surreal. It was like, oh my god, we did it. Oh my god, we did it. We're back. Like, okay, oh my god, we're back. You know what I mean? Like, this is right where we left off. You know what I mean? It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And to see the Atlanteans, to see another shot of Lex in the scout ship talking to Steppenwolf, it was just like, oh my god, this was all cut. What is wrong with you people?
I'm gonna tell you what, like, because like back then, like when like I wasn't a fan of the OG Steppenwolf design, like at all, and then through the movie, I was like, this is such a better design.
It is. Well, but the thing is that when you first saw the design, and then you compared it to the actual character, you were like, yeah, that's kind of weird because I mean it's really different, you know. But then when you see it in live action and you see how it plays out, you're like, yeah, this is fucking badass. This is so much.
It's
better.
Also such a flex design, VFX wise, like everything's shiny. It's so hard to do.
It's
so shiny. But like the thing that always was like my most like going, what were you thinking? Was that opening scene in Justice when you have Superman recording through a cell phone that's doing this, like, and you're gonna try to get rid of that mustache, a VFX thing, when it's through a cell phone camera? That's not a good way to start off this whole thing,
so
because
weird.
It's like I can understand if it was like a still shot or more of a cinematic, like through an actual movie camera where you can maybe do a cleaner job, but they decided to start off with a cell phone shot scene, and
it's like a flip phone too, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's like you're gonna try to wipe out a mustache through an inconsistent still shot. That no wonder it looks like shit right off the bat. Like who? I mean, oh my god! I mean, that's the thing. It's like I will never understand that.
Who watched that? and it was like, okay, yeah, that
That's
works.
good
Let's
enough.
go.
No, they all thought that's not. They're like, this sucks. But the fucking Sujihara and those fucking guys were like, just put it out there because they wanted to get their bonuses.
Crazy about
They
it
didn't
is
care.
that, like, that scene could have been cut entirely, just cut straight to the rooftop scene or something.
It's true.
Like,
I think the reasoning they
you could have decided
wanted
the
a
day
scene
before
like
it hit theaters that you wanted to cut that, and it could have been cut. Like,
yeah,
that's not a like. That is an easy, just like hack it off. It doesn't come back later in the movie. There's no callbacks. There's
nothing relevant about
to
that
it
at all.
It's
No,
all
but-
it is a steady shot close up of fucked up face of Superman for 30 seconds. Like,
I get the idea behind doing that because one of the complaints about Zack's Superman was the people don't love him, the people don't interact much with him on screen.
Right.
So scenes like those were missing. So
Yeah.
instead of literally filming save the cat out of the tree scene, they were like just let him talk to some kids.
That's right. That's their version of it essentially. Like that's the closest they were
They
coming to
needed
without
that
being so
scene.
on the nose. Yeah.
It was kind of an essential scene. So I don't think they would have.
But that also just, I mean, because no one in the real this I will say this: Twitter's not real life. Nobody in the real world talks to me about that movie.
No
one says anything.
Nope.
I don't have conversations about that movie. I've had more conversations about Aquaman and the Suicide Squad than I have about that particular movie.
What's funny too is like even that opening scene when I saw it for a second time with friends. One of my friends, my friend Kathy, who's of course is in love with Henry Cavill. Yeah, like I felt her. I also felt her. I felt her face change, like in my periph. Like when I was like, and I told her I was like, when it came to his face, because she asked, because she knew, because I was updating her about stuff. And as soon as it opened, I felt her go like this, like that, like her fucking, like she was like ready for it. And then she went like, and she saw his face and I was like, and then I just looked at her. I was like, and she like looked at me and I was like, yeah.
It was so embarrassing sitting beside friends. Watching that movie.
Imagine if they would have cut that scene. I mean, the movie still sucked anyway, but it would have helped. Like, it would have gone a long way. I mean,
do a newspaper like as opening credits. Do
Yes.
a newspaper
Well, there's a
montage.
newspaper in that Batman.
Yeah, it's like
get a bunch of
Superman
newscasters
with the pigeons.
Pay Anderson Cooper and a bunch of fucking TV personalities.
Like Superman's dead. Superman's
to do a montage
dead.
of like Superman obituaries where you're like sharing interviews with people. Like there's so many ways to do an intro. You don't even have to show his face. It's so weird.
Or you could show like a clip from that from previous shit where his face looks good.
Yeah,
or,
show B-roll.
Like it was such an unnecessary scene.
We didn't also
have-
wanted to destroy the movie. That was one of the. You wanted to destroy the movie.
It almost seems like it, right? With the whole I tried thing. I mean, that was a weird thing.
What the fuck they
At
were
first,
doing?
I was kind of thinking that maybe he actually tried to save it, but after seeing the movie, he intentionally sabotaged some scenes.
I don't know what he was. I mean, it's possible, but I mean,
He
the
had the
robbery
footage.
scene in the beginning where he, hops on a parademon and then they fly in one big circle and he lands back on the same rooftop, which I was like, wow, that's pretty impossible, but okay. And then he throws a net on him and then he blows up and he leaves 3 Mother Box logos. I was like, what the fuck?
And there's a sound that they're drawn to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was like, what the
Sauron.
fuck?
The police siren thing, yeah.
I was kind of like, why? How can Batman hear it if he's right? Yeah, is he putting off that sound? I don't understand. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I mean, it looked cool in some aspects, but it didn't look cool in a lot of other
The
shots.
Gotham looked cool around.
The Gotham that they flew around, I was like, that
Well,
looks
even
cool.
when Batman was perched up on that, when he was seeing the guy, and he was like, that was like, all right, that's a cool shot.
That was cool, but then when he turns around and he shoots at him and you see him swing away, I was like, well, he should have already been gone. When he turned around to shoot, he should have just been gone. Like, where'd he go? You know what I mean? Like, he's already a step ahead of you. Instead, he's like, "Oh shit, he shot at me." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was funny because I defended like that. So I was like, "Oh, that's actually not a bad scene. Look at him do the flippies and blah blah blah." But then when I watched it for the last time, I was like, "Yeah, this is just not.
This is just garbage, dude."
You guys remember when a Superman carried an apartment building?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
That was bad.
No. Go before that. He's in the middle of like talking about what they're gonna do next with the mother boxes, and then he's just like,
Slowpoke.
Civilians.
Yeah, civilians. Birds or no, he's not gonna make it. Takes off. You're like, oh, okay, all right, tight. I guess we're on our own again. Yeah.
God damn.
Oh my god.
I almost want to watch it again.
No.
Just after watching Zack Snyder's Justice League so many times, I'm like, God damn. Because I know we retired it right before Zack Snyder's Justice League came out. We did a live watch.
Everyone did.
Yeah. But I'm like, I almost want to just do it again.
It's not on
well,
my list.
and then not only that, but then like, of course, when it came to Batfleck in the tactical suit, they took away his goggles, probably because they didn't understand it. They were like, "Oh, why does he got goggles on? That's stupid." And then when he talks to Superman, he's like, "Well, I knew you didn't bring him back because you like me. I don't not." It was like
you.
What? It was like, whoa. Where did that come from? Like, why would you have written that and thought, yeah, that'll work. Do it.
It came from the same place as hearing Danny Elfman's Batman theme when he.
Which I thought was like
talking about this movie
cool at the point, but no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Neither does the John Williams score.
It doesn't have any longevity.
I absolutely hate when they use the wrong score for the wrong character. Yeah. No matter how good
the wrong version of the character.
Okay. So in Zack Snyder's Justice League, when Flight 2.0, when he takes off, when he goes fly son fly, and you hear like the Hans Zimmer Superman song, I was in the hotel room watching it on like a 55-inch TV. When I saw that scene, I was like, yes,
Andre,
there it is. Fuck yeah,
Andre, go back further. The scene.
There's so many.
The mother box scene where they're all coming to the organic conclusion of what to do, and Barry's like, I know we're all thinking the same thing right now. Who's gonna say?
And then all of a sudden he shows up on
and as they're talking, like you hear it, you start to hear it, you're just like, oh my god! And then the perfect like as soon as it hits, and you're just like, oh, we're home.
But it's the Junkee XL version.
Yeah.
Junkee XL's got some electric guitar going.
He does. Yes. But you know what I mean, though. It's like when you hear those familiar sounds, you're just like, yes, where this needed to be there the entire time. It did not make any sense. And it's funny because before Zack's movie came out, I remember watching a bunch of of fan edits. Like one by one AB director.
Yeah.
And he had really good fan edits where he put like their music back into it, and it made the scene so much better. It was like, wow, this is so much better.
Tried his best.
Yeah, tried
color grading it, you know.
Yeah, but just having that music playing during those scenes, it was like, wow, this feels more like I'm watching a movie as opposed to watching like a bad video game. It was just like, oh man. And again, too, we're talking about Lord of the Rings, about, representation and all that. When it came to the Zack's movie, it's like he had all that in there, but it was done respectfully, and it was done right. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't like, oh, girl power. No,
it was organic.
It was organic. Exactly.
That's how you should be. That's what it should be.
Well,
and every time you saw it, you were like, yeah, that's how you do it. That was done right.
Like the waitress scene. First of all, that's a black man helping her, and second, she's Asian herself.
Yeah,
but it's just there. She's just a citizen that he's helping, right? It's not like, oh, well, here's it, or even the case of when Eleanor corrects the principal and is it's like Mrs. Stone, Dr. Stone. She's just demanding the respect in front of her name. It has nothing to do with. I mean, but even as a black person, I'm like, yeah, that's right. All right, but it wasn't. It wasn't obvious. It wasn't like
it wasn't over the top. It was like, yeah, no, that's what you.
I love when for the waitress scene, the entire scene plays out, and we're just seeing, Ray just being smiling at the end, and right after that, he turns and walks back, and there's this couple looking at him weirdly, and that was like, oh, he's still still machine.
He still got the
Right.
he still got all that. And that's what's so great about that is like he felt so great, and then it was like a reminder, like but you're still like mainly robot, and these people saw you, and you were like, and they went, oh my god, and he was like, oh shit.
That works both ways, like not just
does.
because he was machine. Yeah.
Well, and no coincidence he was wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's all
raining.
part of, and these are all, remember, these are all conversations that Zach and Terrio had with Ray about how to do this in a manner that was organic and that was respectful.
Even in the beginning of the movie, when it's going through the whole intro, and then the intro takes you to Silas's apartment where you see Cyborg, and he has that scene where he turns around. You know what I mean? I was just like, holy shit, he's already Cyborg. This is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, for some reason I expected him to be like not there, and when I saw him at the apartment turning around, it was just kind of like, whoa, like this is so much better. Like this is just, oh my god, like
that's where the title card
yeah,
is.
it's the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Cool. The fact that he turns around and then all of a sudden you see there were like the title. That's what I like about the both BVS and Justice League have like a subtle title card. It's not like just like boom, and it's like dun, 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 but it's just like it's like right there. Like when it comes to BVS, it's like you see the Waynes walking, and it's a cool shot looking down, and it just says Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. Well, obviously Ultimate Edition, which we all love. But yeah, and then when it comes to that, it's just Cyborg looking back, and it literally just says the title card. It's so subtle. It's not like a big extravagant thing, like over on the other side. Dun, 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 dun. It's like
that's it. It's over the top.
Yeah.
Well, what was
no,
scene,
it's not over the top. It works for
it
that.
Works, yeah.
For this, it worked as that because
what
Zach
was
made the ultimate indie film. If you watch it in black and white, it's like this is the ultimate indie film.
Right.
To be honest,
it is.
What was Cyborg's first scene in Justice League?
I don't fucking care.
I don't even remember what it was. I don't remember.
No, I remember what it was, but it was.
I don't even remember.
Was it the computer scene or
no? It was Silas coming home. And and he was hovering. He was like, couldn't do that last night.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Couldn't do that last night.
But that was one.
You know a lot about monsters, don't you?
That was one of the other things. Like dialogue bullshit aside, like one of the other things that you totally noticed was like everybody's acting was just so much better. Like in Zack Snyder's Justice League, like all of the different, like just how everybody was and like how everybody
you can
was.
Tell they don't like the lines.
No,
they phone it in.
Yeah,
everything's phoned in. What, like Steve Trevor?
Yeah, Steve Trevor tell you that, and they weren't even there with each other. They all film those scenes like separately at times. It was like
so bad.
That scene in the hangar.
I love how Zach made fun of that for saying the light was coming in and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
No, because it reeked of Avengers. Like the whole like the forced conflict. Like, oh, you've got to have like the team. That's the biggest thing that I love about. The
entire hangar sequence is just absurd.
It is.
We were trying to make it like it was the Batcave.
Talking about this movie.
I don't know. Why are we doing this? Yes,
I know, but they did. They tried to make it as part of the Batcave, and Zach was like, apparently this was supposed. I guess they thought it was the Batcave, but clearly it's aerospace. They show it. They show the facility.
I don't remember how we got here. How did we get to this?
I don't know how we were talking about that. I think we were talking about our first, like when I,
it was Dave talking about the intro to Justice League.
Yeah,
I started to elaborate. From
you know what? Let's just end it right here. We're almost at 4 hours. I want to wake up tomorrow for the tribute concert for Taylor Hawkins. That's at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. If anybody wants to watch it, it's going to be on MTV's YouTube channel or Paramount Plus. There's also another one. I don't remember what it was, but look for it. You could type it in, Google it, whatever. But yes, the Wembley concert for Taylor Hawkins is happening tomorrow. It's going to be hopefully amazing. There's a lot of crazy, Good performances are going to be happening. I'll probably be, a lot tomorrow. So yeah. So I'm gonna
live stream it.
No, I'm not gonna live stream it. No, definitely
you
not
watching it.
No, definitely not going to do that. But yeah, if anybody wants to check it out, make sure you do it. If you're a Foo Fighters fan, Taylor Hawkins fan. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go around the horn. Of course, thank you to Scott. Thank you to Ben, the new scooper. Thank you for those guys for coming in. But let's go around the horn. Go ahead, Ray.
On Twitter at the Flightcast, you can find my couple. I have more than a few shows now that I'm doing it. Flightcast.com. I've got the main show on Saturday. I've got the feedback show. It got too big. It has its own show now. It's just called the Hexagon every Sunday, where all we do is talk about listener feedback, and that's like 2.5 hours because there's a shitload of listener feedback, and we talk about some really awesome stuff. We can even find ourselves talking about fucking Justice League if somebody asks me the question about that. It could happen, totally. But that's on Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm back to doing sports now. It's not Monday morning sports ball anymore. It's called the Sports Ball Zone. That's every Tuesday that I get to talk about sports. My first episode back was all about college football, and I am totally going to talk about the 12-team playoff and the week 1 of action that's what I'm going to be getting up to watch tomorrow because Michigan is playing and all the rest of college football is playing. So yeah, that'll be on Tuesday that I will talk about that. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. Like it's a full slate of stuff going on now over at theflightcast.com.
Nice. Good. Make sure you guys tune into that. Andre, go ahead.
You can find me at the Nicotina Show on YouTube. We're live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can find me on Twitter at Nicotina_show and on Instagram and on Vero. You can also find me on the Four Nerds on the Four Nerds Network Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on the Four Nerds Network channel. And of course, be on the lookout for more updates for Project Justice League. We have another big announcement coming up. I know everyone's kind of panning out of here, so I mean, I can just kind of say it right now. I know that the rest of the team would be like, "Shut up!" But
exclusive.
Well, yeah, this is an exclusive right here. This is a scoop, so get ready.
Exclusive.
Do you have the?
Get ready, Steven. You better write an article right now.
Do you have the drop for that still, or is that gone?
Oh yeah, I still got it.
Go ahead and drop that. Go ahead and drop that.
Exclusivo.
So what we're gonna do is we decided to change things up a bit for Project Justice League. Originally, we were looking at just doing part 1 and part 2, and that's how we're gonna release it. But then we realized that there were some scenes that we want to go back and redo in part 1. So we decided let's just give them the complete story. So that when we do release the next version of Project Justice League, it's going to be the complete story. It's going to be part 1, part 2 with new scenes, with new character dialogue, with some dialogue that we weren't able to use in the first one. Now we have approval to use it in this one. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a 40-minute long, big chunk of story that will just be really cool to watch and to see what could have been. And
that number never leaves.
What's that?
That number never leaves.
Yeah, 40. It's 40. Yeah, 40. There you go. Everyone's gonna be like, I know why he picked 40 minutes. Like, oh yeah, right. So yeah,
you're muted, Steven.
You're muted, Steven.
Oh,
do we have a "This is how I win" drop?
Yeah, I know, right? This is how I win.
It might be more than 40 minutes.
That's
just a okay, there it is. So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna drop another trailer and some more promo work for it. We're working really, really hard at making sure that this thing is as amazing, as badass as possible. So that's why originally we wanted to release it in August, and then we decided, okay, let's give it some more time because we want to make sure that this thing is as done as possible. Because I mean, this might be the last shot we get at getting something like that from his story. And frankly, it's a storyboard that he already has a new storyboard anyway. So it just kind of
showed it to David Zaslav.
He showed it to David Zaslav. Fucking 2 years ago.
He walked in with all his storyboards.
Yeah. Hey guys,
look at this. And he got it like that little extender like thing, and it was like,
not from the Dallas exhibit.
No,
not from the Dallas exhibit.
No, but he did make Jeff Johns letter it again.
Yeah. Hey Jeff, do you have a moment to write this stuff down? Yeah. But yeah, so Project Justice League, it's gonna be called basically. We're gonna release it as Project Justice League: The Ultimate Cut. It's just the complete story, as opposed to just doing a part 2. So anyone who missed part 1, I don't want them to have to go back and go find it. Like, where's part 1? Oh, fuck it. We're just gonna put it all in one shot. So it's like, if you missed part 1, well, don't worry about it. You're gonna get that plus more scenes and plus more audio. It's gonna be really, really cool. So definitely really excited for that. And of course, it'll have the AFSP what do you call it? Fundraiser attached to it. Already we're at $1,900 total for the whole campaign. We want to get as much as possible. I'd love to hit 5,000, but at this point, I'd love to hit $2,000. So yeah, there it is.
There you go. Looking forward to it, man. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. And KC, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me at Krypton Cage on all social media, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing edits, especially for Black Adam and Henry Cavill.
Those are great, by the way. Those edits are awesome.
That first one
I need
blew
more
up.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
first
I
one
did.
blew up. How many views?
Well, you know,
over 100,000, maybe.
Did it really?
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
No, dude, Casey, that was a badass edit. What's funny is that, like, after it came out, you know, people were saying like, "Oh, I've heard that the Cavill scene, he's wearing the Man of Steel suit," and I was gonna be like, "Oh, maybe they saw Casey's edit and they were like, oh, that's the scene." That's the scene. I get it. I know where it comes. I know.
Well, I mean, he's not wearing the black suit no matter what.
You know that it's
why would he wear the Man of Steel suit?
You know that it's circulating on Twitter or on Facebook in circles that like we're not even aware of.
Oh yes.
And there's people that are like, "Oh no, I've seen the footage."
Oh yeah.
Like this is, you know, and the same people who are sharing the Justice League and Avengers crossover is happening in 2025 articles that are on Facebook all the time.
There's at least 2 Facebook groups talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
But no, I mean,
this is
like,
legit. Yeah, it's a legit trailer.
That's what people say. They're like, "Oh, he's wearing the Man of Steel suit. Why the fuck would he be wearing that suit for? It doesn't make unless I don't know. We'll leave it at that."
But good job, Casey, for fooling people.
Yeah, good job. Man. Those are
you and Bay, I'm
You and
helping selling the movie for doing it.
You are. You really are. That's good.
I was about to say, is Zaslav paying attention?
Yeah.
Like, look, it's right there. So
The Rock watches them while he's crying in the bathroom. God damn it!
He might be.
You gotta get
He
him
might
in
be.
the movie.
Yeah.
I told them the hierarchy was gonna change.
So now I don't know. He's watching he's taking like one of the biggest shits of his life, like obviously because of all the protein he has. Sorry.
I cannot wait for the how it should have ended of Black Adam.
No.
Already, it's like a couple of months until it comes out. That's like a bad time to start looking forward to the.
I mean, even the Super Pets end credit scene was like, he's
They
like,
tried.
Superman,
They tried.
Black Adam.
That's
Like, what the fuck?
That's where I actually got the Rock saying Superman audio from.
Oh, that's where you got it from. I
No,
wondered
good
about that.
idea.
Where'd you
No,
get that?
good. You're crafty. You're crafty with that.
It makes sense because he just used his normal fucking voice for
For everything. It's The Rock.
He couldn't even wear the hair.
That's
couldn't
my
have
biggest
hair?
gripe.
Let's
That's my
not do
biggest
this.
gripe of
Let's
Super
not
Pets.
do this.
He couldn't.
My
He
biggest
couldn't have the
gripe is Super
hair.
Pets.
Why couldn't he have the hair,
We're-
Dave?
We're supposed to be.
I know,
We're supposed to be signing off.
I know. We're supposed to be signing off. Steven,
He probably
sorry,
can't do an
Casey, did you
Egyptian
finish?
accent. I get it, but he could have had hair. He could have had the widow's peak. He could have done a lot of things.
Maybe they tried and it looked ridiculous. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway,
If Spock can do it, he can do it.
Oh,
that's
Steven,
very
go ahead.
true.
He just jumps from Jumanji to everything else in the same look, bald. You know,
Steven, start talking.
Go, Steven, go.
Oh wait, I'm being asked to start talking.
Oh God!
Yes, for once, you're being asked to start talking.
I just wanted to revel in that for a second.
Yeah.
That's how you get your W's.
What have I done?
But yeah, I am Stephen Colbert. You can find me on social media at SM Colbert. And you can find my writing at screenrant.com and check out SnyderMinute.com. And we've got 2 new episodes of BVS by the Minute out now, including an hour-long episode on or both of them are on the rooftop scene, but there's one of them is an hour long on Lex Luthor's. Basically, if you want to know, is God real? Does free will exist? I think we answer pretty definitively on the podcast. Let me know what you think. No more discussion on this topic ever because we get to the bottom of it. So
nice.
Yeah. And we got a few more in the can, so hopefully those are going to be coming out pretty quick now. So, but yeah, SnyderMinute.com and BVS by the Minute on Twitter. You can find those.
Nice. All right, guys, make sure you smash that like, thumbs up. Thank you to, of course, Ben and who else was on this thing?
Scott.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
The rap nerd.
Rap nerd, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Jason, yes, he was also on here. So thank you for them showing up and talking for a little bit. Thank you to everybody on the panel. God damn, I can't even talk right now. Everybody on the panel, and then of course everybody in the chat. Thank you for the super chats, everything, and we will talk to you guys later.